Good afternoon everybody. So first of all your doubts. Okay, so Arnav Diwan, your doubt is that why are not we including raw materials when we are using up some of our resources in buying that raw material which could have been used to buy capital or used to buy other input to produce quantity even. Yes, so just Arnav, just think of that, there is a raw material of 1 lakh rupee. Okay, let's suppose you bought that. Okay, you have bought raw material and then you sold again in 1 lakh rupee to other person. Okay, then it will be 2 lakh. Again you may buy, again you may sell. So you may keep on buying, selling among yourself. Will it increase national income? What do you think? On the basis of common sense, there is a raw material. If we want to increase national income of our country, then as per your logic, if purchase of raw material, because you are spending money, so you are buying raw material from a firm, okay, in 1 lakh rupee. Then you have bought, then you will sell it to that firm. Take your 1 lakh rupee back, give the raw material. Again do that thing. So our national income will increase by that, just on the basis of common sense. Just give me answer of this question. So should it increase national income? Yes or no? If you are buying raw material, selling, buying, selling, 100 times buy, sell, so then national income will be 1 crore rupees. So got the point here? That is transfer of money. When you buy anything, you pay and you take the possession of that thing. So that is transfer of money. In national income, we don't include money. We include value addition, income. Income is earned by production process. When you contribute to some production, when you add some value to the existing things, we don't include buying, selling of existing things. Got the point? For example, if you, I told you already, like you buy gold, so it will not be included. You may buy, sell gold, it hardly matters. When you do some value addition, provide some good or service, then that is included. Okay, like in case of land, I told you if you buy a house, so land was there, land value will not be included, only construction is included. Why? Because what is value addition in land? That is construction. So only construction value will be included. This is the logic. Because I told you already that income is earned only by value addition. Got the point? So because value addition, so national income means that whatever value addition is done, that is national income. I told you already how when you add up income of all people and how value addition generates equal income. Okay, next question, Pratik Kar, your question. While calculating GNP at current prices or constant prices, how to calibrate NFIA based on corresponding year? Or we consider only the present year value of NFIA always? And why are remittances not considered as a part of national income? Okay, so first Pratik, you have asked while calculating GNP at current or constant prices, how to calibrate NFIA? So I told you GNP is equal to GDP plus NFIA. NFIA in simple words is B minus C, I told you. Okay, so this is our domestic territory. I told you B what we have earned from abroad. Okay, this is not the rather inflow, and C what foreigners have earned in India, to B minus C. So what you have mentioned while calculating GNP at current or constant price, how to calibrate NFIA based on corresponding year. So government, 100% data cannot be 100% authentic. So we will estimate how much Indian people, Indian companies have earned abroad, whatever data is available, because 100% perfection is not possible. In none of the macroeconomic data, 100% perfection is possible, none of the data. It may be of national income, poverty, unemployment, anything, because 100% perfection cannot be there in real life. Okay, and then government of India will be having data how much foreign companies or foreigners have earned in India. So this B minus C is NFIA of the same year. Certainly we will include of the same year. Okay, and next you have mentioned, or we consider only present year value of NFIA always? No, obviously it should be of the same year, same financial year. So we are talking about GDP of a particular year, so we must actually consider the production in that particular year only. Got the point? So we have to see how much income earned by Indian companies in that financial year and how much foreign companies have earned in that particular financial year. Okay, next part of your question is that why are remittances not considered as part of national income? Remittances are not included because remittances are actually, remittances are what? They are just transfer of money. It is a type of gift. You are working abroad, sending back money to your family, so gift is not included. And why not include it? The same logic which I told you in previous question. If let us suppose good gifts may be included, so you may gift your income to your family or friends and take it back, again gift, again take it back. So will it increase national income? No, it is transfer of money. In national income, we include those transactions which show actually some value addition. So which shows some value addition, only those are included. So I think it should be clear why we don't include remittances, because remittance actually is a type of transfer gift. I'm just coming to this point itself. Next is Divya Chaudhary, your question. I did not understand that when there is increase in industrial productivity, that means more workers will be hired, while since industrial and agriculture productivity is less, thus less number of employed people and hence more unemployment. Okay, so your question is that I did not understand that when there is increase in industrial productivity, okay, when industrial productivity, more workers would be hired since industrial and agriculture productivity is less. Thus less number of employed people, hence more unemployment. Okay, so what you have mentioned, it is not itself correct. So what you have mentioned, when there is increase in industrial productivity, when you mean to say when industrial productivity, so what you have mentioned when industrial productivity increases, then it means more workers would be hired, since more workers will be hired since industrial and agriculture productivity is less. So your sentence is not clear. So first of all, what you have mentioned, if industrial productivity will increase, then that means more workers will be hired. So what do you think it means? More workers will be hired. Okay, more workers will be hired. On what basis you can say? There is no relation between productivity and number of workers hired. Directly there is no relation. How you can say if industrial productivity is increasing, then more workers will be hired? So this logic is completely wrong. What is meaning of industrial productivity will increase means let us suppose this is one factory, this is input and this is output. So productivity means in industry, whatever input is there, for given input, we can maximize output, we can increase output by same inputs. Okay, by same workers, same raw material, machinery, we can produce more output. Okay, got the point? One way of expressing productivity is this. Second way is that to produce a given output, we can minimize input. Any kind of input we can minimize. That is meaning of productivity. Now, first of all, it should be clear, if productivity is increasing in industry or any sector, then we cannot say where more workers will be hired or less workers will be hired. That is different thing. Okay, so there is no logic in this. So what you have mentioned, there is that when there is increase in industrial productivity, that means more workers will be hired. There is no logic in this statement. More workers, it depends on business environment overall. When firm want to expand, may hire more workers. Okay, because there may be possible industrial productivity may be increasing, but demand of that product may not be there. So why firm will produce? Firm may even remove workers. So it depends on lot of other factors, business environment, whether firm will hire or not hire workers. Okay, and you have mentioned workers will be hired since industrial and agriculture productivity is less. So once you are saying industrial productivity is increasing and you are saying industrial and agriculture productivity is less, thus less number of employment people. No, first of all, productivity and employment both are not directly related. Okay, employment depends on business environment. If business environment will be good, firms are expecting profitability, there may be more demand for the product. Okay, and then firm will hire more workers. There will be better, and business environment means better ease of doing business, then firm will hire more workers. There is no relation between productivity and number of workers hired. Directly no relationship. Okay, so these were your questions. So I think last topic was that we have discussed the three methods of estimating national income. Income method. Okay, so last topic was three methods of estimating national income. Income method and production method, means value addition method, and expenditure method. And I told you all methods should give same Answer. So because every production process generates equal income. Now next is which method is used in which sector in India. So for that purpose, so now next point is that which method is used in which sector. So first of all, before taking up this, you should know what are the sectors in India, how we classify economic activities in various sectors. So mention classification of economic activities. Classification of economic activities. So we classify in three sectors. One is agriculture. Agriculture. You know, agriculture sector includes only one thing. What is that? It includes includes only one thing, that is agriculture and allied activities. Agriculture and allied activities. So agriculture allied activities, you know, include, you know, animal husbandry, fisheries, forestry. Okay, so forestry, fisheries, animal husbandry is included in this, and agriculture include, you know, all types of crops, and horticulture is included in agriculture itself. Horticulture means fruits and vegetables comes under agriculture. Okay, so this is very basics. You should know how economic activities are classified in India. Okay, one is agriculture. Second sector is industry. Industry. So industry includes 4 subsectors. One is mining and quarrying. Mining and quarrying. So mining means extraction of minerals, etc., and quarrying is related with stones. Mining of stone in simple word is quarrying. So mining, quarrying is a part of industry. Okay, not part of agriculture. The most important component of industry is manufacturing. Manufacturing sector. So sometimes manufacturing and industry may be used interchangeably. Practically in newspaper in general, in books, to manufacturing sector and in industry may be used interchangeably, but actually industry is much broader. Manufacturing is narrower. Now what manufacturing includes? Manufacturing includes means any kind of manufacturing, any production or assembling or some processing, all these things are included. Example, manufacturing of the pen, copy, this electronic board, this table, okay, so tube light, etc., means these are manufacturing. Even potato chips is manufacturing. Okay, potato chips, biscuits is manufacturing sector. Means all types of processing, manufacturing, production, assembling will be included here. Main component is this. Third component is electricity, gas and water supply. Electricity, gas and water supply. So it should be clear it is not part of service sector. So this is in industry, electricity, gas and water supply. And one more sector, that is construction. So construction sector is also under industry. So agriculture consists of only one thing, industry consists of these 4 things. So this may be asked in prelims, which of the following are components of industry. So you should know for this purpose. Also it may be, question may be asked on this also. This is very basics. And third sector, obviously you know, is services, service sector. Service sector. So services or service sector, and service sector include all others. Okay, you now example like it may include trade. Trade means wholesale, shopkeepers will come under service sector. Trading, okay, transportation. Transportation like railroad, all means of airways. Okay, transportation, communications like telecom, courier, etc. Storage, etc. Okay, other sector include like financial services, financial sector like banks and other NBFCs, stock exchange, all. Apart from that, consultancy services, and means all others will come under this. And even third part we can include These are major. There are some other points also in this services. Other may be like public services, defense, police, etc. Okay, public services, etc. Personal services, so like doctors, engineers, all services will come under this category. So what you should remember, कि just one is there and 4 are here, and rest obviously are services. So this is how we classify economic activities. Okay, now one more thing. Normally when I ask how many sectors we have, so usually students give me answer कि we have 3 sectors. What are those sectors? Primary, secondary, tertiary. But so I have given you agriculture, industry, services. So what is difference between, can we say agriculture is same as primary sector? So answer is no. Primary sector is somewhat different, slightly different from agriculture. This is 2 types of classifications are there. One classification is this, another classification is primary, secondary, tertiary. Earlier we were using primary, secondary, tertiary classification. Now we are using this one. So right now Government of India is using this classification. So this is important. Okay, other primary, secondary is not important. Okay, just for your idea, I will give you some idea about that. So write down another classification. In NCERT this classification is given. This another classification. So another classification is, first sector is primary sector. Second is secondary sector. Secondary means second. Third is tertiary sector. What is meaning of tertiary? Some students say that tertiary means service sector. No, tertiary means third. Yes, it includes services. Okay, now which activities are included in primary sector? So what is important? Only one point you should remember, कि agriculture allied activities are included in this and mining, quarrying are included in primary sector. Okay, so primary sector includes 2 things, means mainly those things which are related with nature, and 2 things are related with nature like agriculture allied and mining, quarrying. So primary sector include this. Okay, so what you should remember, only one point you should know, कि when we say agriculture, include agriculture allied only. When we say primary sector, it includes agriculture as well as this mining, quarrying. Okay, this is the only thing you should remember. And remaining these 3 comes under, remaining 3 comes under secondary. And services simply means all services comes under tertiary. Okay, that just first point is important. Okay, at the most, but this will be less likely because government is not using this classification. Economic survey, I did share data also, that this one actually is used. So primary, secondary, tertiary, this was used earlier, so that is why not so important. At the most you should have idea about primary sector. And theoretically we add one more sector here, 4th sector, that is called quaternary sector. Quaternary sector. So quaternary means 4th sector. So but data is not given on quaternary sector. Data is given for first 3. This is only theoretical use. Mainly it includes R&D. Okay, research, scientific research. R&D means research and development. Only R&D is included in this sector. Okay, so you should have idea about this classification also, but important is this. Okay, I repeat, you should know only 1 and 4 here, and rest are services. Okay, one fact you should remember. Second fact, primary include 2 things, this and this include primary, others are common. Now I'll come back to this, which sector is used in which method is used in which sector. So I told you that all methods cannot be used with equal ease in all the sectors. So a particular method may be more convenient in a particular sector depending on data availability. Now you have to give me this answer of this question, कि in agriculture sector which method must be most conveniently used. Now which is easier? Easiest way is that can we estimate income of farmer or value of output of farmer or expenditure by farmer? So which method do you think? Income method, like it is easy to estimate income of farmer. So write down I for income method, P for production method and E for expenditure method. Give me answer quickly. So which is the easiest thing for farmer? Which is most convenient? Income of farmer, value of output, production or expenditure by farmer? Yes, Sneha, you are correct. Production method. Devansh, most of you have given production method. Some of you have given, Meenakshi given expenditure, Radhika given expenditure method. No, wrong. Why? It is not easy to estimate how much money is spent by farmers. Simply how much is the value of goods produced and sold, because farmers sell in mandi. So that is relatively easier. So production method is most convenient. Production method for agriculture sector. Okay, now what about manufacturing sector in industry, like farm is manufacturing pen? Which is easiest thing, value of pen produced or income of this company or expenditure by this company? Which is easiest thing on the basis of common sense? Again give me answer for industry. So for industry, for pen, easy to estimate the value of pen or income of company or expenditure by company? Which is easiest thing? So answer is actually value of production is obviously easiest. How much value of pen produce? That is very simple. Income will not be easy. Madhusudan, you have mentioned income. Masum, you have also given income. So lot of Yugen have given answer income. But most of you are correct here. So income will not be easy. Why? What is income? Income is revenue, income is profit, and for company, name of income of company is profit, and profit is revenue minus cost. Revenue means money is received through sale of this pen and then minus cost. That will be somewhat difficult. So value of pen is most easiest thing. So production method is used in India in all these sectors, except construction. Why? Why we don't use production method in construction? Reason is that if a building is constructed and sold, so what do you think, in which thing should be included in national income? I told you only value addition is included. The value of land only, write down L for land and C for construction, means whatever construction we did over land, and B for both. So give me answer. If a building on a land means building is constructed and sold, let's suppose so which method should which thing should be counted in national income, or value of land, or C for construction and B for both? So just give me answer, L for land and C for construction and B for both. What do you think? So land means a person bought land, constructed building and sold. So most of you are correct, only Radhika you are wrong. And so I have told you already in one question, I told you that value of land is not included, it was already there. What value addition we did? That is construction. So some people have given answer both, and Vardha, you have given answer land value. No, land was already there. We don't include those things which were already there. We include value addition. So what value addition we did over land is through construction. So only construction will be included. Now, if we let us suppose buy a land, means land along with building, so it is not easy to separate the value of land and value of construction. So production method will not be convenient. So now which method should be convenient? It is easy to estimate income of the people who are engaged in that construction business, or the money spent to construct a building. Which thing? I think very simple, because income from construction of that building will be difficult. Which person earned how much money from that particular building? So best thing is money spent to construct that building. So we include use expenditure method here. Expenditure method is used in construction. Okay, so that is the reason I told you we use expenditure method in construction sector. Next thing, in services sector, let us suppose a doctor. So is it easy to estimate income of doctor, or value of services of doctor, or expenditure by doctor? Just give me answer. So I, P and E for doctor. So which is easy? Production, value of production, or income, or expenditure? So obviously I think all of you are correct here, income method. So income method is used. Why not production method? Because you know, services are not tangible. If you go to clinic of doctor, you cannot see how many services are there. In a manufacturing company, you can see the goods produced by machine, but so services are not visible, they are not tangible. So production method will not be convenient. Simply income we will estimate. So income method is used. So in entire service sector, income method. So these are the methods which are used. Okay, so you should remember, in service sector, income method. Only in construction, expenditure method. okay, only in construction, and otherwise in these sector production method. So these are the methods which are used in India. Now next question from you people, which method is most commonly used in developed countries? Only one method is, most of the developed countries use only one method in all the sectors. Which one method do you think might be used by developed countries on the basis of common sense? Which method is most commonly used in developed countries? Developed countries use only one method. Which method? So your answers are mixed. It was not so difficult question. You know which sector is largest sector in developed countries? Which sector is largest? In developed countries, the largest sector is service sector. Service sector account for almost 70% of GDP in most of the developed countries. You must have idea. When normally service sector expand much in developed countries. So it is, so service sector income method is most convenient. So they, if they are applying maybe service sector this income method which is convenient for almost 70% of the activities, so they apply in other sectors also. Got the point? So most common method is income method. But most of the people usually are right. Why you were wrong? Majority of people were wrong here. Okay, so we have discussed which method is used in which sector, and in India we use combination of all the three methods as per the convenience or availability of data. Now next thing is that some items are not included in national income, and you should know what items are included and what are not included. So write down items not included in NI. National income or GDP all are almost same here. So some items are not included. In the beginning of this chapter, I told you name of one item which is not included. What is that item? Intermediate goods. I have told you already. Okay, intermediate goods are not included in national income. And why not included? To avoid double counting. To avoid double counting. Okay, so we have discussed already. The most important item which is not included is transfer payments. Transfer payments. So transfer payments are not included. What are transfer payments? Write down the definition of transfer payments. To mention that these are unilateral payments. Unilateral payments which are made without any consideration. These are unilateral payments which are made without any consideration. Unilateral means in one direction only, and without any consideration means कि if a person will receive that money, person is not obliged to pay you something back. So in one direction only and nothing is paid back. There is no quid pro quo against this payment. Quid pro quo means there is no one-to-one relation of this payment and any service given by or good given by the recipient. No such relation. Example. So lot of examples are there. Example is like gifts. So when you give gift to somebody, so do you think other person is obliged to give you back something? Obviously no. So that is only one direction payment. Although some people expect something back. Some people back expect return gift. So I think you may be expecting return gift, but remember one thing, earlier you didn't knew कि it is a transfer payment. Now you know this thing. So when you give gift to somebody from now onwards, don't expect anything back because it is a transfer payment. Make it clear. Okay, so nothing to be, no obligation to pay back. So gifts, and related to gift like grants, donations. So gifts, grants, donations are almost similar because grants are given and not taken back. Donations also. Okay, donations, or we can say charity also. We can say charity, money given in charity. It is a type of donation only. Apart from that, other example is winning from lottery, winning from lottery. If you earn some money in lottery, then that is not counted in national income, because that is not earned, that is just transfer of money from some people to other person. Similarly, winning from quiz contest, winning from quiz contest, like from Kaun Banega Crorepati. Let's suppose if you will win maybe 1 crore or 5 crore in KBC, that will not be counted in national income. It should be clear. Your income may increase, but not national income will not increase. So winning from quiz contest like Kaun Banega Crorepati. So some students have doubt in this, ki why it is not included, because you know that money is taxed or not. If you win from KBC, certainly you know, you must have read in newspaper, those people who win, they have to pay almost 1/3 to government as tax. Okay, so tax is paid on that money. So if tax is paid, so you may have this question, so it should be counted in national income. So it should be clear, taxation policy is different thing, national income is different thing. Got the point? If something is taxed, there is no guarantee that it should be included in national income. Okay, so it is true that when you earn some money from quiz contest or anything, that will be taxable, you have to pay tax, but that is not counted in national income. So why not counted in national income? Because no value addition is done, because you have not earned that income. Let's suppose you earned 1 crore rupee in KBC. So why you earned? Because you answered few questions correctly. So that is a criteria for giving money, but that is not the earning. You have not done value addition in that. So that is why it should be clear, this winning from KBC or any quiz contest is not included in national income, although it is taxed. And still, if you have doubt in this case, if it is taxed, it should be counted, then my question is that from you people, agricultural income is taxed or not in India? In general, no. So agriculture is not taxed. So won't you include agriculture income in national income? Yes or no? So certainly all income is included. Why not agriculture income included? So, but it is not taxed. So if something is taxed or not taxed, it will not directly affect what is counted in national income or not, because criteria is entirely different thing. So here that thing is included which increases value addition, whether it is taxed or not, it hardly matters. So I think it should be clear, because it's a very common doubt, since it is taxed, so why it should not be included? The logic is that all criteria here is different. Value addition, anything which is doing value addition, that is included. Achha, why it is not included? Logic I told you already. Like for example, why gift is not included? Let us suppose you earn 50,000 rupee salary, you gifted 50,000 to your family members. Okay, so then 50,000 your income, 50,000 your gift will be counted, then take it back. Got the point? It will be again 50,000 will count, again give them gift, again take it back. So will it increase national income? Got the point? This is transfer of money. So money is different from income. So these are all transfer payment. It's a payment, means transfer of money here. Okay, apart from that, prize money. Prize money is also not included, like with some prizes some money may be given. So that is almost same thing. This is not given for any particular service. Achha, what about like this, for example in KBC, what about Amitabh Bachchan's remuneration? You know, Amitabh Bachchan must be charging something. So should it be counted or not? So if you win something in KBC, that is not counted. But Amitabh Bachchan's remuneration will be counted, yes or no, in KBC? So prize money is not included. Apart from that, remittances are also same. So foreign remittances. Foreign remittances. So foreign remittances. So yes, most of you have given, I think all of you have given correct answer, yes. So yes, Amitabh Bachchan's remuneration will be counted because he is providing service and he is charging for that. Got the point? It is the, he is charging for service, not for free. And if you win, you have got for nothing. Nothing means some one criteria, they have fixed, you fulfill that criteria. By answering few questions correctly, you got that money. So that is not earned. So yes, all of you are correct here. So Amitabh Bachchan's salary will be counted, means salary or remuneration whatever should be counted. And apart from that, you know, the people who are engaged in lottery business, their income will be counted in national income, yes or no? The answer is yes. The people who are engaged in lottery business, their income will be counted because they are providing they are doing a business, they are providing a service. Okay, so that is counted. And foreign remittances are also not included because foreign remittances are transfer of money. It is a type of gift. If you are working abroad, sending money back to your home, that is a kind of gift. Okay, earlier I have already explained. So apart from that, government provides some money, like other example may be unemployment allowance. So if unemployment allowance is given not for work, it is just transfer of money for social security. So unemployment allowance is not counted in national income. Apart from that, old age pension. Old age pension, you know, government provides old age pension to poor people so that they can meet basic amenities, because people can't earn in much old age. So that is why government transfer money. So old age pension is not included in national income. Clear? But in bracket mention this thing, but retirement pension is included in bracket, but retirement pension is included. Okay, so retirement pension is included in national income. Okay, in bracket mention retirement pension is included. Why? Because retirement pension is given because of the contribution to value addition. Okay, right now the retirement pension in your job, some money is deducted from your salary and some your employer will pay, and that is deposited in fund. You will get that money. So that is the reason, because that is given for job, not for free. Other example could be like widow pension. Okay, this is not, this is also transfer payment. Okay, disability pension, widow pension. Other is scholarships. Other example, scholarships. So scholarship is also a transfer payment. It is not counted. So scholarship, it should be clear. कि some people have doubt कि if I will qualify NET or qualify this exam, then I will get a scholarship. It should be clear कि if you are qualifying NET or you are enrolling in PhD or any other thing, so that is a criteria for giving the scholarship. You are not giving service. If you are doing research, let's suppose you qualified NET, so or JRF, sorry. So if you qualified JRF or any other exam for scholarship, so it is just a criteria. It is not that you have given some service to government and for that you are charging, or you are enrolled after JRF, enrolled in PhD, so your government will pay you some money, that is scholarship. So you are not giving service to government, it should be clear. So it is not included. A scholarship is a transfer payment. So these are examples of transfer payments. Okay, I think it should be clear कि why not included. Now third point. Okay, so one we have discussed intermediate goods, second transfer payment. These are all examples of transfer payments. All are examples of transfer payments. Now next is sale / purchase of old or second hand goods. Sale / purchase of second hand goods. Sale / purchase of second hand goods. So if you buy or sell any old good, so that is not counted. Reason is that it must be counted first. Let's suppose you buy an old car, so that is not counted, because that must be, once it is sold, it must be counted already. This is very simple logic, I think. So any old thing, like if you buy an old car, that is not included in national income. But what do you think? One more thing, like Pawan, you have mentioned disaster compensation. Yes, even disaster compensation is an example of this transfer payment. Okay, you may write down one more illustration, example of this previous point, disaster compensation. Disaster compensation is also a transfer payment. It's a type of grant. It is a government grant as such. Okay. Now come back to this, old sale, if you buy an old car, then certainly value of car will not be included, because that car must be included already once it was sold first time. Now the question is that you must have paid some commission to broker if you have bought through broker. Let us suppose you bought a car of 2 lakh rupee and you paid commission to broker. So do you think broker's commission 5,000 rupee, let's suppose you paid to broker, so that 5,000 rupee will be counted in national income, yes or no? So yes or no, just give me answer. कि broker's commission will be counted, yes or no? If you take a room on rent, you paid commission to broker. Okay, so the commission you paid to broker, maybe 15 days of rent or maybe whatever 20 days of rent or 1 month of rent, so that will be counted, yes or no? So yes, you are correct here. So answer is yes. Why? Because broker has provided you a service in the current financial year. So it is a normal business of broker. Okay, so answer should be yes. So in bracket mention this thing, but broker's commission is included. So in bracket mention this here, but broker's commission is included. Okay, so it should be clear. Value of old car or old house will not be included, but the money you pay to broker, that will be included. Taking commission, is it legal or illegal? In Hindi we call it dalali. तो दलाली लेना ठीक है गलत है? तो it should be very clear कि it is 100% legal and morally correct. There is nothing wrong in dalali, because sometimes because person is providing service. Because dalali, this word is used in some negative sense sometimes. So that is why people think it is wrong. No, actually, if somebody is taking this commission for wrong purpose, like for human trafficking, etc., or for like public servant is there who is giving contract to a private company and taking money some under table, so that is actually illegal thing. Okay, so but in general, commission, that is brokerage or dalali, that is 100% legal and morally correct income. Okay, other is capital gains. Capital gains. Capital gains in bracket, it means what? Increase in value of assets, that is increase in value of assets. So I told you already, if you buy land of 10 lakh and value of land will increase from 10 to maybe 15 lakh. So 5 lakh is your capital gain. It will not be counted in national income. Nothing has done. Okay. Other example, you have bought a gold of 1 lakh rupee. Next year that value increases to maybe 1.2 lakh, 1,20,000. So 20,000 is your capital gain. Gold is kept just like same gold. So but only the market price of gold increase. So what happens? Your asset value increase, your wealth increase. When you sell, you will get more money. But income, it has nothing to do with income. Okay, so capital gains are not included. So I told you already. Other is black money. So black money is not included. Why? Because it is unaccounted money. Black money, what is black money? Is it legal or illegal or both? What do you think? Black money is, can you give me answer, legal or illegal or both? So write down it includes. So most of you are correct. Some people have given only illegal. No. So black money includes legal money. Illegal certainly is black money 100%, and plus legally earned money, or we can say undisclosed legally earned money. So it includes two things. Black money includes, one is this illegal money, other is undisclosed legally earned money. For example, if somebody will earn some money from smuggling or any criminal activity, okay, so bribe, that is illegal certainly, that is black money, complete 100% is black. But somebody might earn some money very honestly, okay, but that person, the money which is earned through a very honest process, legal process, can it be black? Yes. If the person may not disclose it for taxation purpose, may not show for tax, that will be black. For example, if a person earn 10 lakh rupee, for example, from a business, legal business, 10 lakh rupee, but person for filing income tax return showed I have earned only 6 lakh only. So he did not disclose 4 lakh. So then that 4 lakh will become black money, although it is legal. Okay, so the undisclosed legally earned money is also black money. Now why it is not included? So reason is that if government would know that this person earned actually 10 lakh, so it will no longer remain black. So black is that which is not known to government. If anything is confiscated, government will know this thing, that will no longer remain black. It is unaccounted money. And the same thing is illegal, it is not actually traced. So that is why these things are not included, illegal money as well as undisclosed money. Because practically if that person file income tax return shows officially I have earned 6 lakh, so government will use that 6 lakh only. And if government would know that this person actually earned 10 lakh, so government will recover tax on that also, and entire 10 lakh will be included. Okay, now last point in this is household services. Household services, especially housewife services. like cooking, cleaning is not included. Cooking, cleaning, etc. are not included. Because estimating is very difficult. What is your conceptually? My question now, you have to give me answer yes or no. Conceptually, it should be included in national income, yes or no. The concept is that I told you that whenever value addition takes place, we should count this. So should it be included, yes or no? Actually, it is not counted in national income. Estimation is very difficult. How do you give money value? But you can see that if the same work is done by maid, whatever payment you will pay to maid, the salary of maid will be counted. But if same work is done by housewife or any person, even male person in house, that will not be counted in national income. So what do you think? Should it be counted, yes or no? Yes, all of you are correct here again. The answer is should be yes. Should be yes. Why? Because value addition is taking place, services being generated. But why we don't include? Because of practical problem. Because how to assess value of these services, and apart from that, some services which could be done by the servants or maid and which are very personal services. So how we can actually segregate them? Where we put a line that this is a general service which a servant can do, which is very my personal service I should do for myself. So this is the problem, estimation. That is why we don't include this one. So these are the items which are not included in national income. Okay, one question is there. Akash Singh, you have mentioned that GVA is equal to national income. So we have discussed already. You have mentioned GVA is equal to national income. So I told you how G is gross. National income I told you is NNPFC. This is national income. So it is wrong. So please revise notes. You have not revised notes. Okay, so items we have discussed not included, and why not included, reasons we have discussed. Now second, mention this items included. In national income. Whatever value addition is there, that is included, obviously. So value addition in general, whatever is there is included. Okay, so we can say in general value addition. Whatever value addition is there, that is included, which we have discussed already. But just two more items you should know which are included. So first write down value of goods, value of self-consumed goods rather. Value of self-consumed goods is included. Okay, for example, a farmer total production is let us suppose 10 ton. A farmer produced 10 ton of wheat. Okay, and he sold in market is 8 ton. Why not 2 ton? 2 ton he self-consumed, kept his home in his home for self-consumption. So on the basis of common sense, what do you think? What should be actually should be included? 10 ton. What is total production of a farmer, or whatever he sold in market, 8 ton, because 2 ton he consumed himself. So how much should be counted? Just write down this 10 or 8 or any other answer. What do you think? So value addition, how much happened? Whatever he produced. So answer is total production will be counted. It means that even he may sell it or may self-consume, both will be counted. So 2 means 8 plus 2 will be counted, means 10 will be counted. Okay, so all of you are correct, only few people are wrong. Ayush and Tarun, you are wrong, and Jaidev, you are wrong. Lot of people are wrong. I have told you already, still at least almost 10 people are wrong almost here. So I told you कि value of self-consumed good, 2 sold and self-consumed 2 ton. So we will include what? Both of these will count. Okay, whatever sold plus self-consumed also. So both are counted. Most of you correct, but still some of you were wrong. Clear? And one okay, self-consumed goods. Now, but here you can see there is a conceptual discrepancy. What is conceptual discrepancy here? See this point, last point here. You can see here household services, means self-consumed services are not included, but self-consumed goods are included. So there is a conceptual discrepancy. If you produce service for yourself like in home household service, that is not counted, and if you produce good and out of that you consume yourself, then it will be counted. Clear? So there is a minor conceptual discrepancy, but why we do this thing? Because it is difficult to estimate value of services, we ignore that, but goods value is relatively easier to estimate, so that is why we include this. Okay, and just last item in this, if you are living in your own home, so you are driving some service or not? If the other person may be residing in that home, other person is paying rent to you, to the same service which the person who is paying rent might be driving, you are driving the same service from your home. So do you think if you are living in your own home, then rental value, estimated rent should be counted or not? So as per logic should be counted. Reason is that if you have rented your house to somebody else, so from that person is paying rent to you, that is counted as income rent. Okay, because that person is driving a service. But if you may shift after some time in that same house, in your own house, so you must not be paying rent, you are the owner of the house. So but you are driving the same service which the other person was driving and paying you rent. So that is why entire rental value is included. Either rent is paid out or you are living in your own house, we estimate rent. To write it down, estimated / imputed. Imputed word is used here. Estimated / imputed rent of self-occupied property. Estimated / imputed rent of self-occupied property. So estimated rent of self-occupied property is also included. So rent is of two types, one is paid out, other is imputed rent. So if let us suppose you are living on a rented accommodation, you are actually that rent is counted, and if you are living in your own house, then we will estimate the rent and count it national income, the entire rental value. Reason is very simple, service is being generated, same service is being generated. Okay, so logic is very simple, you can understand. If you have any doubt in this, then common sense you can apply. Let us suppose two people are there. One person is having house in Delhi, other person is having house in Mumbai. Okay, both of these people were living in their own houses. They were not paying any rent, yes or no? Both of these people in Delhi, one person in Mumbai, are living in both the houses. But what happened? After some time, this person who is in Delhi, resident of Delhi, got job in Mumbai. So he was searching for accommodation, and at the same time, let's suppose he is transferred to Delhi office in his company. Now he will be searching house in Delhi. Let us suppose now he is living in this house, so he is paying rent to this person. Means this person who is living in this, Mr. A, this owner is A here, owner is B. Now this Mr. A is giving rent to B and B is giving rent to A. So now rent is paid. In this case, both people are living in each other's house now. They are paying rent to each other. So then it should be counted or not? As per your logic, paid out rent is counted. Okay, so but practically it is same or not? Both of these people are living in same houses. Okay, if they are living in their own houses, then as per your logic, no rent counted. If you think it should not be counted, and if they are living in each other's houses, then they must be paying rent to each other, or any other third person also may be involved. So rent is paid, so but service is same. So service is generated. That is why estimated rent. I just give you logic for this. Okay, so I think it is clear. So you should know these items which are included and which are not included. Just mainly two items like self-consumed goods and estimated rent of self-occupied property. Both are actually counted in national income. Apart from that, any value addition is done, that is counted. So you should know items which are included and not included in national income. Okay, Sanatan, you have asked to how much extent black money is affecting our national income. So I told you already that black money cannot be counted in national income, so that is why whatever is black money, that is not included, because actually lot of people are earning, maybe just like I told you, a person earning 10 lakh rupee and showing 6 lakh only, or may not be showing even at all. So income of those people who are not disclosing to government, that is not actually counted. So our national income is underreported. Now how much it is underreported depends on black money. So how much black money is there? I will discuss in detail in this section, but estimates vary. So some estimates say 10% black money, some say 50%, some say more than 100%. But most of the estimate believe that almost 30 or 50% black money is there in the country. So it means that if black money will be included actually, then our national income will be at least 30% more or most probably 50% more. Okay, so this leads to underestimation of national incomes. I will discuss separately. Now few facts about estimation of national income in India. So who estimated national income of India for the first time? So I have shared in notes also, you will go through that, just write down 1-2 points. So mention that first estimate of NI was made by Dada Bhai Nehru ji. Dada Bhai Nehru ji for the year 1857-58. Okay, Dada Bhai Nehru ji for the year 1857-58. So these data are not important ki which year, but Dada Bhai Nehru ji you should know. Even it was asked twice in prelims, once directly and once with some other options also. Okay, so Dada Bhai Nehru ji estimated, and this estimate was published in his book. What was the book written by him? So in Modern India you will discuss that book. What was name of the book? The name of the book was Poverty and Un-British Rule in India. So in modern history you will discuss. So this he wrote this book, Poverty and Un-British Rule in India, and this book became very famous. For which reason? For which theory he propounded in this book? The theory was, you must be knowing, drain of wealth theory. In this book he mentioned about drain of wealth. So drain of wealth theory. So drain of wealth theory means that actually in this book he explained how British government is draining our wealth and resources from India through various means. Like through trade, we have to export those items which are needed by industrial revolution in England, and we have to import industrial goods. Because of that our industry is shutting down. So systematically economy was deindustrialized. Similarly, the foreign companies, they were earning huge profit. They are sending money in the form of dividends, interest, royalties, various forms. Politically also, the expenditure of Secretary of State in England was to be met by Government of India from here. So through various means actually money was draining out of the country. So this book became very famous because actually Dada Bhai Nehru ji showed that how British government is draining wealth of our country and how they are using India as a colony, and how it is economically exploiting the country. So this created awareness about the economic impact of British rule, and helped in the national movement. That is why it was famous. So you will discuss in history. And rather last point here I will discuss is which agency estimating national income right now. So just mention that since 1956 the Central Statistical Office has been estimating NI and related aggregates. These are published in its report titled National Accounts Statistics. NAS, National Accounts Statistics. Okay, so I have told you already. So right now the agency is CSO, and sometimes it is asked which publication, which organization publishes this report. So National Accounts Statistics, NAS, is published by CSO. Okay, some of you have mentioned NSO, so it is same CSO or NSO we can say. Okay, so you should know this report, and like data of GDP, GNP is available in a report or document called NAS. But I have told you already that there were two data collection agencies, CSO and NSSO. Okay, Central Statistical Office and National Statistical Office. So both of these now have been merged into National Statistical Organization, NSO, under Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. This is under MOSPI. We have discussed already. Okay, so this is right now, but in CSO I have mentioned because in almost all books you find CSO. Okay, so now CSO has become part of this NSO. So either we can say CSO or we can say NSO. Okay, but now officially NSO is used. So you may use NSO now. Okay, so this is about estimation of national income in India. Some facts, etc. Now next part is that some changes. Now the last section in this is government revised the methodology of estimating national income in India. So we will discuss what changes were made by government in national income estimation. Then some issues, lot of issues were there. And because of lot of economists put question mark on national income estimates, and some of them criticize that growth is overestimated. To rectify those issues, in economic survey there is a chapter in 2020 is economic survey. So I have given you summary of that. So these issues we will discuss. So first is that what changes were made. To mention this revision in national income accounting, revision in national income accounting methodology. Revision in national income accounting methodology. Estimation of national income is called national income accounting. Okay, now some questions are there. Pratik, your question. Hotel and restaurants are not counted in national income, but they provide service. Is this correct? True. Who said hotel and restaurant not counted? Why not counted? Whatever services hotel provide or restaurant provide, why they should not be counted? How you thought hotels and restaurant, all activities which is doing some production of good or service should be counted? On what basis you can say hotel and restaurants are not counted? Got the point? So whatever value addition you are doing, like hotel are doing value addition. If you stay in a hotel room, you are availing a service, and whatever payment you are making, that is counted in national income. Clear? When you stay in a hotel, you will pay bill to hotel. So whatever bill you are paying, that is counted in national income. Okay, Pratik, so everything is counted, whatever production is there, good or service. Another Tarun Riyar, interest on deposits in bank is counted or not? Why not? It is counted. It is a service of capital. So that is a source of your income. So there are 4 types of income. Interest is one of the 4 out of 4. One is interest rate. So interest will be counted, whatever interest you receive. Other is other question, Rakshit. Your question, in imputed rent, how there would be any value addition? If let us suppose you will take a house on rent. Okay, so in rent you are living in that house, there is no value addition. If there is no value addition, you are not driving any service, why you are paying rent? Can you give me answer of this question? If you may, let us suppose, come to Delhi for attending coaching classes, so you have to rent accommodation, like most of the students who came from outside, they have to rent a room. Okay, if they are not getting any service, there is no value, why they are paying the rent? Are they fool? They are paying rent. So certainly they are paying rent for the service they are driving, and every service is counted. This is the logic. Got the point? Apart from that, if the owner will live in the same room, so owner will drive the same service which other person may be driving. So that should be counted. This is the logic. If you have problem understanding logic, just cram it. If you can understand logic, that is good. And if you fail to understand logic, no problem, just cram that. It is counted, just count it. And this is not, I can give you logic only, why and now. But I have not done this thing. Got the point? This is not that it is my choice. It is actually counted and logic, I told you. Other is Rishabh, your question. If broker is not registered, means how we will be able to trace the income of broker or payment is done in cash? This is not your problem. This is the problem of the National Income Estimation Agency in India. Whether income is tracked or not, if the government cannot track that income, so that will become black money, now not counted. Got the point? You are paying, let us suppose you drive a service from a broker and you made payment in cash and broker did not report it, so certainly not counted. Got the point? Because it will become black money then. Clear? Which body decide what we have to include, what we have not? Is it GST Council? No, GST Council is for GST only, for taxation. National income is different from tax, entirely different from taxes. So CSO will decide. CSO means now it is NSO. NSO will decide what should be counted, what should not be counted, methodology, some aspect we will discuss here in this section. Okay. Now revision in national income accounting methodology. So this revision was made in which year? I told you in 2015 and as per the norms of IMF. So mention this thing कि the GOI in bracket MOSPI, means ministry is MOSPI, MOSPI, revised the NI accounting methodology in 2015 as per the norms of system of national accounts, SNA 2008, system of national accounts, SNA 2008 of International Monetary Fund of IMF, International Monetary Fund. Okay, so IMF is a agency of UNO, so we may also call it ke, or other words, in other words we can say ke this methodology is revised as per conventions of UN, or that is as per conventions UN. Also mention that is as per conventions of UNO. Okay, so just mention this because conventions of UNO means conventions of IMF here. Okay, so the main agency to estimate national income at global level is IMF. Also World Bank also estimate, but IMF is more appropriate for that purpose. So IMF has made some norms कि how countries should estimate national income, and those norms are followed by IMF also. So that system is called NSA, NSA, System of National Accounts. So we have made changes as per the international conventions or conventions of IMF, or we can say conventions of UNO. Okay. Now what changes were made? So write down features of this changes. Features of change. So first is base year change. So base year revised. So write down first point, the base year for NI accounting revised from 2004-5 to 2011-12. We have discussed already. Base year for NI accounting was revised from 2004-5 to 2011-12. But base year revision is not a very major issue. It has to be revised after 5-7 years. It is usually revised by government. Okay, one change. Second change, I told you already. Now if I say this, make this statement, earlier GDP was estimated at factor cost. Now GDP is estimated at market price. Is it correct or wrong? Please give me answer C and W. If I say earlier in India GDP was estimated at factor cost. Now GDP is estimated at market price. Is it correct or wrong? Okay, second question. If I say earlier economic growth was estimated at constant prices, now it is estimated at current prices. It is correct or wrong? Second question is that earlier economic growth was estimated at constant prices, GDP at constant prices, now it is estimated GDP at current prices. So give me answer, correct or wrong? So first of all, first question. So here answer is mixed. So answer it is completely wrong to say कि earlier what I said कि earlier GDP was estimated at factor cost and now GDP is estimated at GDP MP. So this is completely wrong. What is mistake here? Mistake is that कि earlier GDP was estimated at factor cost as well as at market price, and now also estimated at factor cost as well as market price. Got the point? So earlier as well as now GDP is estimated at factor cost as well as market price. Completely wrong. Now got the point here? What is mistake here? Where you failed? You failed to distinguish between growth rate of economy and the GDP. It should be clear कि growth rate of economy earlier were expressed on the basis of GDP FC and now on the basis of this one. Officially, government is showing the growth on the basis of this one now as compared to this one. Clear? So we have data of GDP MP, we have data of GDP FC now also. GDP is calculated FC also now, but we are not using for showing growth. Growth is shown officially on the basis of this. So have you understood the difference here? कि it is not GDP, it is economic growth expressed on which thing? On this, earlier on this. Okay, first question. Second question, I said economic growth earlier were estimated at constant prices, now at current prices. It is completely wrong. Growth is always shown, growth means real growth is always shown at constant prices, never at current prices, should be clear. And current price is called nominal growth, that is not practically much used. Got the point? So when we say growth, if nothing is mentioned, we mean real growth, and always in all countries, earlier and now always. So both questions were completely wrong. Got the point? But some of you have given correct. Okay, so I think you should have understood between the GDP and GDP growth or economic growth. So write down the second point now. To mention this, कि the economic growth rate of the economy, the economic growth rate only is sufficient. The economic growth rate was economic growth rate to be officially depicted. Officially depicted means shown. To be officially depicted on the basis of GDP at constant market prices. GDP at constant market prices. GDP at constant market prices instead of GDP at constant factor cost. GDP at constant factor cost. Or you may mention this thing. You can see this thing कि economic growth is actually shown earlier, actually was on it was actually shown on GDP FC constant prices. Now it is GDP MP constant prices. Now it should be clear कि growth is always on constant prices. Constant, okay, this is constant, this is also constant. Clear? What is difference? Difference is only this कि earlier it was FC and now it is MP. Okay, officially shown, but it should be clear government has data of GDP FC also now also. It should be clear government has data, but officially government is not showing growth on the basis of this concept but on the basis of this concept. And here make it clear कि write it very clearly, constant price and constant price, this is same. When we say growth, we mean real growth. It is always shown at constant prices. It is same, constant prices. Okay, earlier it was GDP at constant factor cost, now at constant market price. So it should be clear. Got the point? Now next point. Next point is that regarding data. So in case of organized sector, we get data on regular basis. First of all, write down some other point कि data sources have been widened. So just mention third point कि under new methodology, comma, the data sources have been widened. Data sources have been widened. That is, it includes data sources like A point regulators, example RBI, SEBI, etc. RBI, because regulators also have lot of data. RBI, Securities and Exchange Board of India, is a regulator of stock exchange. Okay, IRDAI, etc. Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority, Telecom Regulatory and Development Authority, etc. B point, local bodies. Local bodies, like village panchayats and municipalities. So data sources like local bodies like village panchayats and municipalities, because even municipalities do a lot of work in city. They even collect taxes, like house tax is collected by municipality. Okay, they can borrow also and they spend money for repair of roads, etc. So apart from that, village panchayats under Manrega, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Program, village panchayat decide what work to be done in village, how many people are employed. So they also have data of economic activities. So from local bodies also, like municipalities and village panchayats will be taken. Another very important data source right now is MCA 21. MCA 21. What is this MCA 21? So just mention कि it is a database of Ministry of Corporate Affairs. It is a database of Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Ministry of Corporate Affairs. MCA stands for that, Ministry of Corporate Affairs. So database, or rather also mention electronic database. It is an electronic database. Also mention it is an electronic database of Ministry of Corporate Affairs. This is a huge database, and all companies which are registered, they have to file regular information on this electronic portal, or data repository. We may also call it data bank, may be called data repository. So it is an electronic data repository, and all companies which are registered in any sector, manufacturing or service sector, they have to report on monthly or quarterly basis their transactions, the buying, selling, etc., their balance sheets, etc. So this is a very huge database, but it is created somewhat recently. So it has become operational in the current context, in the current form from 11-12 only. So this is one very important data source. Okay, but problem is that it includes data of only organized sector. Companies which are registered, they are filing data on that. Small companies are not registered, so they don't give data on this. There is no data on this. So data sources have been widened. So what will be impact of widening data sources? If I want to conclude this thing, if there will be more data sources, so it will increase sample size of data. And when sample size of data will expand, so authenticity will increase to some extent. Even it may enable us to cross check from one source and another source, is it common or not. So am I correct or wrong? If I say if data sources will expand, then sample size will of data will be more, and more sample size, more authentic data. Okay, so obviously it is correct. So I think clear. So new data sources have been added, which has enhanced its authenticity. But now the issue is that in case of organized sector, we have regular data means on regular intervals, company have to file return monthly, quarterly information. But what about the small companies? They don't provide information to government. So from where the data of that unorganized sector is collected? So you know, unorganized sector data is collected by some surveys, mainly by NSSO, National Sample Survey Office. So NSSO conduct periodic surveys, but those surveys are not conducted every month or every quarter. So maybe 1 year, or some maybe after 2 years or 3 years. So the problem is that we have regular data on regular basis of organized sector which is registered, and in case of unregistered company we get data of from the particular survey. Let us suppose one survey of from organized sector was conducted maybe last year or 2 years back, and we have to estimate growth of the previous quarter, but no survey was conducted. So what is how we'll get the idea about the activities of unorganized sector in the last quarter? Survey may be conducted last year or 2 years back. So we have regular data of the organized sector. So if we assume this thing, unorganized sector might be growing at the same pace as organized sector now in India. So can we say this assumption will be logically correct or not? What do you think? I'm repeating this. You have to give me answer correct or wrong. So my assumption is that if let us suppose we have to estimate growth of last quarter, and we have actual data of organized sector, means registered company have already submitted to government, we have that data. Now we conducted survey for unorganized sector last year, but we can assume whatever was the growth of organized sector, so unorganized sector also grew at the same rate. If we assume this thing, is it logical? So correct or wrong? What do you think? So is it correct to assume this or not correct? Here mixed response I have received, but I think it is correct. Why? Reason is that normally if economic conditions will improve in economy, then all sectors will grow at fast pace. So there is some correlation in sectors. So by and large correct. It cannot be give 100% correct answer, but actually it is logically, I think it is correct. So write down this next point. So mention this, the growth rate of unorganized sector. Unorganized sector is assumed to be equal to, growth rate of unorganized sector is assumed to be, unorganized sector is assumed to be equal to the growth rate of organized sector. Okay, growth rate of unorganized sector is assumed to be equal to growth rate of unorganized sector. And also mention this assumption is needed because data of unorganized sector is not available on regular intervals. So data of unorganized sector is not available on regular intervals. It is usually collected through periodic surveys. It is usually collected through periodic surveys by NSSO. Periodic surveys by NSSO. Okay, so usually by periodic surveys, and they are not on regular basis, means that maybe 1 year back, 2 year back, 3 year back. So this is the reason we need to assume this, which I told you, and I think by and large it is logical. Got the point? Tushar, what you, if Government of India is estimating GDP FC also, then why now GDP MP is considered for showing growth? Government has data of GDP MP and FC both. So growth may be projected on this data or this data, it is up to government. Got the point? If government has both the data, so government may project growth on the basis of this aspect or this aspect, all data is available. Available is different, and officially what is used for projecting growth, that is MP. So it does not mean that government don't have data of GDP FC right now. Data is available, but it is not used officially. Officially there are, I told you there are 16 concepts. So which is used out of 16? I will, in next section it will be clear. In conventions you will know more precisely. So this assumption now, one very important question from you people. Earlier I repeat first of all the previous this point. Just first give me answer of this question. I have already discussed this. I am just again asking that question. there was a criticism, some critics said कि in India GDP growth is overestimated because now growth is estimated at MP and MP may increase because of increase in indirect taxes, and actually in India indirect taxes increase at much faster pace, especially after GST from 2017. So is this criticism correct or not कि India's GDP growth is overestimated? So this criticism is correct or wrong? Just write down C or W. I am repeating, I have already asked this question from you people. Because indirect tax has increased at much faster pace, so GDP MP will certainly increase at faster pace. So this criticism is correct or wrong? So correct, yes, all of you have given correct answer because I am just repeating, I have already told you this question when I told you the concept. Now second question, similar question now second. Some critics are saying that India's GDP growth is overestimated because of this reason also. So now you have to give me answer in yes or no. That India's GDP growth is overestimated because we are assuming this thing. Because in the last 4-5 years, unorganized sector actually grew at much slower pace than organized sector, because you know GST has affected unorganized sector, demonetization has affected unorganized sector, and some other policies affected unorganized sector. So in this context, in the last at least 5 years, it is not desirable to assume this thing in India, and it will lead to overestimation of our economic growth, this assumption. So is it correct or means yes or no? You have to give me answer. These critics are correct. Are you convinced with the critics that our GDP growth is overestimated? Yes or no? So most of you have given answer yes, and that is correct. So this criticism is certainly correct that to some extent our growth is overestimated. Got the point? Why it is overestimated? Because in India, if you see the unorganized sector situation, it was affected much. I will discuss in GST how exactly GST affected the unorganized sector. Why MSMEs actually face problem after GST. I will discuss in detail, don't worry. Demonetization also I will discuss. So demonetization affected is unorganized sector mainly, cash economy mainly. So this is valid. So this is without any doubt, it is 100% correct. Got the point? So it means that certainly in the last few years our GDP was overestimated. Okay, but how much, it is very difficult to say, and we cannot say substantially overestimated, but certainly some overestimation was there. So it should be clear that both criticism, overestimation because of this MP and overestimation of because of this are correct. Achha, how much is overestimation? We have exact data. So overestimation on the basis of this is about 0.1 to 0.2. Got the point? So whatever is GDP growth, about 0.2 is because of this. Got the point? Just like in 1920 I told you 4.2% growth. So 4.2 means if you see, remove the impact of indirect taxes, it should be 4% growth, not 4.2. About on an average 0.2 is overestimation. I will show you with data. Okay, and as far as this is concerned, so this criticism is 100% correct. Yes, certainly there is overestimation, but how much is very difficult to say. But I don't think it should be substantial overestimation, but some minor overestimation is there. So it is correct, both criticisms are correct because GDP growth is to some extent overestimated, but certainly not very significantly. So this is correct without any doubt. Got the point? It is fact that this happened, but can we say so this assumption is not, this is wrong? Remember one thing, this assumption is logical. I have asked from you people only earlier. Okay, this is very logical. There is no flaw in this as such practically, because we don't have much other alternatives. Problem is this. So practically it is by and large logical, but in the last few years it has led to overestimation. This is not wrong. As such, this is not wrong. By and large it is practically okay. But problem is that in the last few years it has created overestimation because of unorganized sector was adversely affected. But if let us suppose in future this may happen that organized sector may be adversely affected and unorganized sector is growing at fast pace, then it will lead to underestimation of national income. Got the point? So this assumption is not 100% correct, but logically it is correct because practically we don't have any other solution. So that is why I think this point is not wrong, it is logically correct. Although in last few years it has led to slight overestimation of economic growth. Because this is important, it means this may be asked, do you think India's GDP is overestimated? Even in economic survey there is a chapter this year, so this question may be asked in means. So you should know why overestimation, why not overestimation. So pros and cons I will discuss in detail later also. Now next point. So next point is that mention that sector wise growth rates. Sector wise growth rates to be estimated on the basis of gross value added at basic prices. Gross value added at basic prices, GVA basic prices. Okay, so sector wise growth means like in agriculture sector how much is growth, or industry or services how much is growth is based on GVA basic prices. Okay, now this is a new concept, what is this basic prices? So I will discuss what is this GVA basic price. So these are the major changes. Now I will explain what is this GVA basic prices. So just write down what is this formula. GVA basic prices is equal to GVA FC, GVA at factor cost plus production taxes minus production subsidies. Okay, so write it down. GVA basic price is equal to GVA factor cost plus production taxes minus production subsidies. So what is this production tax? What do you think, direct tax or indirect tax? So production tax minus production subsidy. Okay, now one more formula, write down the other formula. GDP MP, GDP at market price. So GDP MP is equal to GVA, GVA basic prices plus, okay, so GVA basic price, this GVA basic price plus product tax, product taxes minus product subsidies, product taxes minus product subsidies. Okay, now the question is that what is product tax? So which is actually direct tax, which is an indirect tax, product tax or production tax? So earlier I told you indirect taxes are imposed on goods and services, and goods and services are called products. So which is actually indirect tax out of these? So obviously indirect tax is product tax, not production tax. So production is a process, product is like we are producing this pen, so this is a product, so tax on this product is indirect tax. So which is indirect tax? Product tax. And can I say product tax minus product subsidy is net indirect taxes? The answer is yes. Okay, so it should be clear that product tax means indirect tax, because product tax means taxes on goods and services. Product means goods and services, so indirect tax. And when we say subsidy, we mean product subsidy. So indirect tax minus subsidy is net indirect taxes. And this one, this is production. So production is a process. The tax imposed on any process, income or wealth is direct tax. So this is a direct tax. Okay, so direct taxes are imposed on income, wealth and production also. Okay, So it may be imposed on income like your income tax, like on your wealth like house tax or wealth tax, and also on production any activity. So that is direct tax. Now if just one question from you people. First listen the statement again, then you have to give me yes or no answer. First is that I told you product tax is called indirect tax. Both are used interchangeably, product tax or indirect tax. Why? Because indirect taxes are imposed on goods and services, and goods and services means products. Okay, so that is why I have used the word net indirect taxes. Now I told you direct taxes are imposed on income, wealth and production. Production means any activity. Okay, so just like I have said this is a net indirect tax, this is actually production tax minus production subsidy. Is it net direct taxes? Correct or wrong? So give me answer C or W rather. Can I say net direct taxes here? Net direct taxes. Yes or no? So can I say net direct taxes? I told you direct taxes are imposed on production, income and wealth. So here answer should be it is actually wrong. Some of you have given yes answer, it is wrong. Like Tarun, you have given answer yes, Dr. Vardha has given answer yes, lot of people have given answer yes, but answer is no. Why? Because direct tax does not mean production tax, it is only one type of direct tax. So direct tax mainly are imposed on income and wealth, on production also. So we cannot say net direct taxes. Can we say net production taxes? If I write NPT, net production taxes, so will it be correct? Then it will be correct. Net production taxes, this is not direct taxes, because direct taxes are not only these taxes, there are other taxes also direct. Okay, but indirect tax and product tax is same thing. What the point? Indirect tax, product tax is same thing, exactly same. But direct tax and production tax is not same, it is one type of direct tax. So we will call it net production tax. Okay. So now just see this again, what is GVA basic price? So GVA factor cost plus NPT we can say, net production taxes. Okay, production tax minus production subsidy. And what is this GDP MP? GDP MP is equal to basic price plus net indirect taxes. I'll make it simple. Now both the formulas, I will just in one equation I will reduce this. So write down this in simple words, MP is equal to what? Like from this, see this, MP is equal to what? Basic price plus NIT. And what is basic price? Basic price is what? FC plus NPT. So we can say simply FC plus NPT, net production tax. Okay, this is what from here to here, this is basic price. Clear? Now see this GDP MP here, MP I have written here, and this is equal to basic price, which is equal, I have taken from here, FC plus NPT basic price, and basic price plus what I have to do? Plus NIT. This is the formula, you should remember. Okay, in both these equations only this is there. Okay, market price is equal to FC plus NPT plus NIT. Okay, and this plus this is called basic price. FC plus NPT is basic price. This is the only thing you have to remember. Okay, no need for learning this. If you know this thing, you can easily write this equation. Now question is that what change has been made? What was earlier? Earlier I have dictated what is relation between MP and FC. Earlier I said कि MP is equal to, earlier I said MP is equal to FC plus NIT. I think you remember this formula. Earlier I said कि MP is equal to FC plus NIT. Okay, now we are saying कि MP is equal to not only FC plus NIT, we also add NPT. Okay, this is the difference. What change was made? Now we have this under new methodology. Earlier means under old methodology we were saying कि MP is equal to FC plus NIT only. Okay, the only difference is that you already know MP is equal to FC plus NIT only, but we have also added NPT, and these may be called basic price. This is the only thing which is changed. Now question is that which is correct? Earlier was actually correct or this is now correct? So earlier or actually. Now the question is that market price includes FC, yes sure, NIT sure it is included, both are included. Now the question is that NPT if included actually in market price, then this one is correct, and if it is actually not included, then earlier was correct. So now the question is that which is actually correct, earlier or now? It depends on whether market price includes NPT or not. I think clear? We can reduce this to this simple thing, whether NPT is included or not. Okay, now you have to give me this answer only. Let us suppose if a firm is doing some production of good or maybe service, and if any tax is imposed on that for production, so that thing will affect price of this pen or not, the product. So question again, listen this question. Let us suppose a firm is producing something. Let us suppose a CA is working, doing business, and CA has to pay some tax on production. You are producing this service, you have to pay this tax. And this is not based on the service. This is not, service tax will be different, or service tax now in place of service tax we have GST, and this is on production of this service you are producing, you have to pay lump sum tax, plus on service you have to pay GST, or earlier it was service tax. Now the question is that the tax which government is imposing on a particular professional like CA on lump sum basis, do you think that CA will charge that tax also from its clients? Or in other words, the same question is that if a firm is manufacturing this marker pen and tax is there on this pen plus taxes on production, you are doing production, you have to pay tax. Okay, one is pen is different, that is indirect tax, and tax on production process is a direct tax. Now my question is that if government is imposing a tax on that firm for doing production, should the firm will increase the price because of that tax? Will it charge from the consumers? Or just like example, CA is paying professional tax, so that professional tax will be passed on to its clients? Yes or no? So give me answer. The tax on production, NPT, net production taxes, will these taxes be passed on to consumers in the form of higher prices? Yes or no? So what do you think, yes or no? So most of you are correct, you have given answer yes. So answer is yes. The reason is very simple. For example, I am a professional providing some service, and if government may impose a tax, a lump sum tax on me, okay, so do you think I will bear from my own pocket? Why I will bear? For example, if I am doing some private practice, any kind of profession, so if I hire a room rent, office rent, so do you think I will charge from my clients or not? Certainly, I will charge everything from my clients because I am there to earn some money. Why I will pay from my own pocket? So if I cannot receive entire expenditure including my profit, why I will do that service? So it should be clear, whatever is my expenditure, maybe in the fixed expenditure like rent or any tax, or maybe tax for doing production, or my service also, whatever taxes or even bribes and anything, I will charge from my clients. Otherwise, why I will do business? Got the point? So answer is yes. So most of you are correct here. So obviously which one is correct? Old or new? Now I think it's clear. So which is conceptually correct? So old or new? So obviously new is correct, because market price actually include this also. So this is actually conceptually correct. So it means that this is a conceptual improvement, we can say. Earlier we were ignoring NPT, now we are not ignoring. But practically NPT is negligible. Now I will explain what are these product tax, production tax, direct tax, indirect tax. So certainly new is correct. So I think you have got the point. What change was made? The only thing is that NPT is added. So should actually it is included in market price? So answer is yes. So that is why this one is correct. This is the only difference. And if you know this thing, then I think this formula is, it seems long but nothing is new in this. You can have idea about this. Okay, I think it should be clear. Now if you make things logical, it will become much easier to remember. The only thing is that this formula, but what we have added, just NPT added, and this is called basic price. This is the only thing you have to remember. Entire concept is clear then. Now I will deviate from here to explain what are direct taxes and what are indirect taxes. So write down direct taxes. So first write down direct taxes. So just mention कि these taxes are imposed on income. These taxes are imposed on income, wealth, and activities slash production of individuals and farms. Okay, and write down in this manner now. So you have written, now these taxes are imposed on three things: on income, second is wealth, and third is production. Okay, so direct taxes are imposed on income, wealth, and production of whom? Of individuals and farms. For example, now I will give you example. On income, the tax imposed on income of individuals is called what? Is called personal income tax. Write it down very clearly. Please don't try to save pages. Write it very clearly. Personal income tax, PIT, but usually we will call it income tax. I repeat once more. Personal income tax is called income tax. In short, normally we say income tax. Okay, it is imposed on income of what? Individuals. So this is on, in bracket you mention on individuals. On individuals, and other is corporate income tax called CIT. It is on companies. So in bracket mention on corporates or firms we can say. So corporate income tax, CIT. Okay, PIT is on individual and CIT on corporate. So what I have dictated in definition, direct taxes are imposed on income, wealth, and production slash activities of individuals and farms. So the tax on income of people is called personal income tax. Tax on income of company is called corporate income tax. Achha, corporate income is also called profit, so it may be called profit tax. And some other variants like dividend distribution tax, etc. are also come in this category. Example may be other dividend distribution tax on distribution of dividend. Now on wealth, any example? On wealth, the example of tax is wealth tax. Other is property tax. Property tax. It may be called house tax also. Property tax or house tax. Now you may have one doubt ki property or house is also part of wealth. Why two taxes? Why separate? Wealth tax and property tax should be same. Actually they are separate because in India, you know, land and buildings comes under a state list. So central government cannot impose tax on land and buildings. So that is why the taxes on land buildings, these is imposed by state government. And state governments have delegated to municipalities. Okay, state government have delegated to municipalities. Got the point? So state government has delegated to municipality. So actually house tax or property tax is imposed by municipality. So there are different circle area rates, and accordingly that house tax is imposed by municipality. And other wealth comes under center. So this comes under center. This is the reason. Although house is a part of wealth only. So you may have this question, why different? So because of constitutional provision. So other wealth like cash, gold, financial wealth comes under center. Although center has abolished this tax. I told you already why center abolished this tax. This tax has been abolished now. Reason is that nobody was paying wealth tax. I told you already reason, I am repeating that. I told you land and building come under state government. So that is out from center. Financial wealth is important, that center exempted wealth tax on financial wealth like on fixed deposit shares, because that is a productive wealth that help in capital formation. To encourage financial investment, government exempted finance. So what is remaining then? Land and building are out, financial wealth like shares, bond, fixed deposits are out from wealth tax. So what is remaining? Cash and gold is remaining mainly. Hardly anybody report cash and gold. So that is why wealth tax was negligible revenue. So that is why government thought it is better to abolish that. So a few years back central government, I think 4 years back, central government abolished this. Clear? So wealth tax and tax on production. Now tax on production means production is the activity. Example is professional tax. Professional tax. Other example is land revenue. Farmers have to pay land revenue. Ajay, land revenue means कि if you are doing farming you have to pay land revenue. It is not on product, it should be clear. It is on production. कि you are doing this activity, pay this tax. But it is for namesake only in India. Land revenue is for namesake. Maybe 100, 200 rupee has to be paid by farmers hardly. Okay, and professional tax on selected professions or selected business, this tax is imposed. Some professions, this tax is imposed. This is on activity, on production, not on product, it should be clear. Now my question, give me one answer. These taxes should be imposed on the value of product, yes or no? If I say these should be imposed on the basis of value of product, how much product, good or service you are producing, should be based on that, yes or no? Give me answer. These should be based on value of product, yes or no? Give me answer, yes or no? So answer obviously should be no, because these are not on product, these are on production process. You are doing this process, you should pay this. How much product you are making, that tax will be product tax, separate tax. So here answer is mixed, but majority of you are correct here. So answer should be no here. To mention that, so these taxes or these are simply, these are not based on, to write it down clearly, these are not based on value slash quantity of product. Product means goods and services. Okay, product slash output. Okay, product means output of a firm. So write it very clearly कि these are not based on value slash quantity of product or output. For example, if a firm is making, a professional is making any product, so it is not on the basis of product, how much 1 or 2 or 10, how much you produce. It is that you are doing production, lump sum you should pay this, irrespective of the amount. Clear? Because these are not on product, or so that is why not based on product. These are imposed on lump sum basis. So I think it should be clear. Achha, now some doubts are there. Radhika, your doubt. Radhika Bajaj, your doubt. If it is overestimation, then why we are following MP method, and if all the changes overestimate national income, then why it was revised? Not all the changes. Radhika, I told you कि if MP will be used, then without any doubt, there is not a matter of debate. Nobody can say it will not lead to overestimation. But reason is that कि as such theoretically FC is better than MP without any doubt. Okay, but now why, I have told you already reason why IMF is actually using this MP. Reason is that the data of MP will be more authentic, because actual data is collected on the basis of transactions. So authenticity of data, practical issue, one thing. Second thing is that IMF has conventions based on developed countries. In developed countries, indirect taxes are not much. So that is why actually it is negligible. Got the point? I think it is difficult to absorb why overestimation comment is correct, but whatever is correct, that is correct. What the point here? Without any doubt, no economist, nobody can say it is wrong. But remember one thing, this overestimation is there only because indirect tax increases at fast pace in India. If indirect tax might not have increased at fast pace, then this would not have led to overestimation. It should be clear. This is not a practically I will not say it is a flaw. Practically I will say not flaw, because practically we don't, this is the better method. Practical sense, because data of this will be more authentic. Got the point? So one thing. Second thing is that the assumption that unorganized sector is growing at equal to organized sector growth, that is very logical. I told you already. But in last few years, unorganized sector was adversely affected because of some specific issues, policies. So because of that, in that context only it lead to overestimation. So these two flaws or we can say flaw or methodological changes will not lead to overestimation always, it should be clear. But in last few years, at least in the last 4 years, this criticism is without any doubt is 100% correct. Nobody can say that it is not correct, but it is not leading to substantial overestimation. Okay, I have already discussed several times, twice earlier also I told you. Acha, now next is Rohit, your question, Rohit Nadan. If a firm can transfer impact of production tax on others, then it is a direct tax? Yes, it is a direct tax. Actually, if I ask you, one statement, now you have to give me answer correct or wrong. This statement is written in almost all books of taxation. Go through any book of taxation, you will find this statement. One basic difference between direct tax and indirect tax is that the burden of indirect taxes is shifted on others, and burden of indirect taxes is not cannot be shifted on others. So this statement is written in all books कि burden of direct taxes cannot be shifted on others. So my question is that is statement correct or wrong? Again I repeat question, in almost all books of taxation you will find this statement कि burden of direct taxes cannot be shifted on others. This statement is written in all books. Is it correct or wrong? Give me answer. कि burden of direct taxes cannot be shifted on others. Correct or wrong? It is written in all books. So here till now all of you are wrong, except Ayush, you have given correct answer. Only few people have given correct answers. Why you are wrong? Why don't you think this statement is wrong? That is the reason we are doing this thing. That is the reason we are including NPT. You already said answer कि it is correct. So why you are saying wrong? So correct. So this statement is wrong. Now some people are they have given wrong, have mentioned wrong. So answer is wrong. This is not correct. It is written in almost all books of taxation, but it is wrong. Got the point? In exam, if this statement is asked, the burden of direct taxes cannot be transferred to others. So what you will write? Correct or wrong? In exam you have to say, sir, you are correct, because it is written in books. Got the point? If this statement is mentioned in the exam burden of direct taxes cannot be shifted on others, so you should say yes, correct, but actually it is not correct. The reason is that, now you might be confused by this, actually earlier it was not known. Earlier economists thought that direct tax burden can never be shifted, but now recently it is identified that yes, direct tax burden could be shifted. That is why we have made this correction. So it is a kind of correction we have made here, NPT we have added here. Got the point? Because earlier it was believed that burden of direct taxes cannot be shifted. So traditionally, as per economic theory in general, it is believed that burden of direct taxes cannot be shifted. But since it has become a well established fact, in all books it is mentioned, so you have to say it is correct. But actually now we have identified one minor flaw, and that is the reason we have done this correction. Clear? So burden of direct taxes actually can be shifted, but practically these taxes are negligible. Production taxes are negligible, practically negligible. Okay, so practically will not make any significant difference. Okay, so what are direct taxes? Direct taxes are, I told you, impose on three things: income, wealth and production. Please write exactly in this manner, and you should use at least 2 color span, because organization is very important. Unless you organize information, you won't be able to learn. And if you properly organize in one glance, like if you will write in this maybe 3 color span, like I have used 3 colors here, one is basic, impose on which, and some other changes in this, minor changes. So in one glance you will understand, okay, this is the concept, it is imposed on this, these are direct taxes. Okay, so because long term memory is well organized, unless you properly organize information, it is difficult to learn and retain. Okay, now write down indirect taxes. Indirect taxes are also called product taxes. Okay, exactly same, or also called commodity taxes. Product taxes or commodity taxes, same thing. Okay, so first of all, indirect tax, product tax, commodity tax is same. Okay, so write down the definition. So just mention that these taxes are imposed on goods and services. These taxes are imposed on goods and services in the stages of production and distribution. In the stages of production and distribution. So remember one thing, impose on what? Goods and services. So impose on two things, on production, in the stages of production or distribution. Okay, so now write it down in this manner. Indirect tax impose on two things, just like here I told you, income, wealth, production. So three things, here on two things only. One is goods and other is services. Now similarly, examples of this. To example, which tax is imposed on, can you give me name of tax on production of goods? In production stage, on goods in production stage rather, sorry. So in production stage, can you give me name, anybody can give me name of the tax, indirect tax which is imposed on product? Let's suppose firm is manufacturing this pen. The tax will be imposed on this pen, but in the stage of manufacturing, manufacturer have to pay tax on this product pen. It is not on production, it is in the stage of production, but it is on product. What is the name of that tax? So yes, Sneha, you have given correct answer. Excise duty. Rishabh, you have mentioned duty only. No, duty usually we use, duty means tax here. So actually it is excise. Yes, some people have also given, Dr. Vardha has given also excise. So excise duty or excise duty. Duty means tax here. Okay. So got the point here? So on goods, but it should be clear. It is a tax on which thing? On production or good? It is a tax on good. In production stage. Remember one thing, production stage I have written. Now can you give me the name of the tax on goods in distribution stage? Can you give me name of the tax on goods like pen in distribution stage? In distribution means sale. Distribution stage. Tax on goods. Name of the tax which is imposed on goods in distribution stage. Distribution means ki wholesaler or retailer. That tax is called sales tax. Like shopkeepers have to pay. Yes, Sneha, you are correct. Some people have given transportation tax and VAT. So answer is sales tax. Okay, and if you buy from abroad, then even custom duty. Customs duty. So on sales tax, wholesale tax, retail tax, turnover tax are variants, different. Custom duty if you buy from abroad, that is also on distribution. Okay, so got the point? Some people have given answer GST. Actually GST has subsumed all of these indirect taxes. So don't give me answer GST. GST is not only on this, GST on all of these. I will discuss later, don't worry. Got the point here? So indirect taxes are actually on goods. This is only stage. Got the point? This is only stage. So write it very clearly, because unless you will have conceptual clarity, it is difficult to retain. It will create confusion. In prelims, questions are very good. They want to know your understanding, clarity. So these things should be, organization should be very clear. I have already dictated this point. Why I am giving you this? Just for organization. It may take time in class here, but I think if you have properly understood, it will be learned here itself. Okay, and these things are slightly close and slightly confusing. That is why I am taking time and giving for organization. Now tax on services. Can you give me name of the tax on services? Achha, in services, production distribution takes place at the same time. So goods, services are produced and distributed then and there. I told you the services cannot be stored. I give you example, like you want 3-wheeler services for tomorrow. You cannot avail service now. You have to take three-wheeler when you want to go tomorrow at that time. So here we will not divide into stages. So Radhika, you have given correct answer, that is service tax. Pawan has also given answer, service tax. Any other tax can you give? Yes, service tax. Other answer is entertainment tax. Entertainment tax. Entertainment is a special type of service tax. Okay, it is a type of service tax. Very simple. Achha, GST I have not written here because GST has included almost all of these taxes. Okay, so GST is a broad tax, goods and services tax. On goods and services means indirect tax. Okay, so I think clear. Now next question is that if these taxes, indirect taxes or product taxes, these are imposed on the basis of value or the quantity of good service or not? Yes or no? If I say कि indirect taxes are imposed on the basis of value or quantity of services, goods or services, means goods and services means products. So yes or no? Please give me answer in yes or no. And write down. These are based on value slash quantity of products slash output. So yes, you have given correct answer because these are not product. So based on the product, how much product you produce, either quantity or value. So the main difference between production tax and this product tax is that production tax are not based on this quantity of product because they are not on product, they are on production. And indirect tax means product tax, and indirect tax are imposed on the basis of product. Per pen or value of pen it is imposed. So this is the main difference. Okay, one thing. Second thing, you should remember that product tax and indirect tax is same thing. And here production tax is not the only direct tax. There are other direct tax also. So I think this should be clear now. Organization should be clear what is difference in direct taxes and indirect taxes. Okay, so now next thing is that what is products now regarding subsidy. So subsidies can be product subsidy and production subsidy. Just like normally when we say subsidy, we mean product subsidy or production subsidy. So normally when we say subsidy, we mean product subsidy, like food subsidy, fertilizer subsidy, electricity subsidy, credit subsidy. So we are naming the product also. Food subsidy, the subsidy on food, that is on product. Subsidy on petroleum, the petroleum is a product. Fertilizer is a product. So when we say subsidy, usually we mean product subsidy. Okay. So what is product subsidy? The only thing is that product subsidy obviously is based on the value of or quantity of the product, and these are not based on the product. This is the only difference. Okay. So this product. Okay, first I will write this this just like production tax. So production subsidy is also same thing. So just mention here this production subsidy. The subsidy means government grant. I told you in simple words, subsidy means government grant. So just mention one line कि these government grants are not based on, just repeat this, these government grants are not based on value slash quantity of product. Okay, because you are doing production, so you will get this grant. Okay, so not based on value slash quantity of product slash output. Quantity of product slash output. Clear? Example. We don't have much examples in India. We have one example only, that is subsidies to railways. Subsidies to railways. It is not common. Only one example in India I have seen, that is subsidies to railways. Now what do you think? Government of India gives a subsidy to railway, do you think it is based on per passenger or lump sum amount for a year? So you must have idea. I think it is given lump sum amount. Okay, this in this financial year, government is giving this much subsidy to railway. It is not based on the passenger carried or freight carried per kg of freight. No, it is lump sum amount. I think got the point here. So example of this subsidy is subsidies to railways, but this is not common. In some other countries, it may be given to small industries or village industry, like per industry will get 1000 rupee maybe per annum, whatever. So this is not very common. Now next is product subsidy. Just like product taxes we have discussed, so write down product subsidy. Okay, now next is product subsidies. So same thing, just like I have mentioned here, same definition, just instead of not you have to remove in the same definition whatever I have dictated for this product subsidy. So write down product subsidy. Okay, so now write down product subsidy to mention that these government grants are based on value / quantity of product / output. Clear? These government grants are based on value / quantity of output / product. Example I have told you already, like food subsidy, okay, fertilizer subsidy, power subsidy, power means electricity subsidy, okay, so power subsidy and any like credit subsidy, okay, and seed subsidy, anything when we name a product, subsidy on that is product. When we say subsidy, we mean product subsidy only, and these are based on the how much products you are producing per product or value of product, government gives subsidy. This is the difference between production tax, product subsidy, production subsidy. So I think it should be clear. So now some questions. Acha, you are asking, just break. Okay, yes, we will have break. Just one last question. Yogendra Chobe, you have asked excise duty, how it is imposed, please define with example. Excise duty, let us suppose you are manufacturing this pen, and per pen, let us suppose 2 rupees the tax. Okay, excise may be per pen may be 2 rupee. So if you produce 1 pen, you have to pay 2 rupee. If you will pen 100 pen, so you have to pay 200 rupees excise duty. Very simple. It may be imposed on the basis of the per pen per unit, it is called specific tax, and it may be imposed on the basis of value of pen, maybe 10% of the value of pen you have produced. So if you produce maybe 10% is the tax rate, if you sell 10 pen of maybe 1 lakh, so 10,000 will be excise duty. Okay, so manufacturers have to pay tax on product, but right now it is replaced by GST. Earlier it was excise, manufacturers have to pay excise earlier, and it was based on some item per unit, on some item on the basis of value of this, 10% or 15% of the value you have to pay. So that is it. In most of the items it was 12%. So in taxation I will discuss this thing, 12%, mod VAT, sen VAT. Sen VAT, it was imposed in the name of sen VAT, central VAT. Okay, so we will have 5 minutes break, and then in the last topic is that what issues are there. So we have discussed change in methodology. Now we will continue after 5 minutes. Okay, so one doubt, Divya, your doubt, please explain difference between service tax and professional tax. So service tax is actually tax on service. A professional may be doing some profession, so the tax on that professional on lump sum basis professional tax, and the services provided by that will be on service tax. Okay, so service tax is an indirect tax and professional tax is a direct tax. The professional has to pay a tax because that professional is doing service, providing service. For providing service, the person has to pay lump sum professional tax, and whatever is the value of service, accordingly person has to pay service tax. Okay, so both are actually different. Just like let us suppose a firm is manufacturing this pen. So if government may impose tax on the production, that is production tax, and tax on the pen will be, the manufacturer have to pay tax on that profession if the tax is there, so that will be direct tax, and on this pen will be indirect tax. Okay, so we have discussed the change in methodology of estimating national income. So I told you कि national income methodology, so here I have told you कि base year revised, economic growth now is estimated at MP, now not at FC, but it should be clear it is at constant prices earlier as well as now, both constant prices, GDP, MP, constant prices. Okay. Third point, I told you data sources have been widened now. Mostly the very important data source MCA 21 have been added, Ministry of Corporate Affairs, and growth rate of unorganized sector is assumed to be growth of organized sector, and sector wise growth rates actually are estimated on the basis of GVA basic prices. So I have explained the concept of basic prices. What you should remember, only this formula. Okay, earlier we were including MP is equal to FC plus NIT. Now we are saying FC plus NIT and NPT also is included, and FC plus NPT is called basic price. Okay, so this is actually price of goods include this also, so that is why this is correct now. Okay, this is mentioned in this. Achha, now one more thing here, to make things simple, some conventions are used. So what are conventions? So write down the some conventions. Conventions are that whenever we use the word GDP, if nothing is mentioned, then we mean that we are talking about MP. Okay, so wherever in official data in India or even in newspapers now, if you see GDP, it must be at MP. If nothing is mentioned, you will not consider to be at FC, you will not consider to be at basic price. Only if GDP is written, it means that GDP MP, it's a convention. Second convention is that whenever GVA is written, it means that we are talking about basic prices. Okay, to make things simple, actually convention, this is convention. What the point? So wherever GDP is written, MP will be written. Wherever GVA written, basic price will be there. Okay, if nothing mentioned, only GVA is written. So it actually means it will be at GVA basic price. We will not consider GVA MP. We will not consider GVA FC. Although there could be GVA MP, GVA FC also could be there. Second thing, whenever we talk about value of GDP or GVA, value of GDP or GVA. So we will always talk about current or constant prices. What do you think? Can you give me answer, current or constant? So write down current or constant. Whenever we talk about value of GDP or GVA, so just give me answer in current or constant. So answer obviously is current prices. So whenever we talk about in terms of rupees, we always use current prices, and whenever we talk about growth rate, if nothing is mentioned, we consider to be constant. So most of you are wrong. Most of you are wrong. Only few people are correct. How? Only few people are correct. So current prices, whenever we talk, I have several times I have told you, value means in terms of rupees. At least 5 times at least I must have told you this thing. So why you are still wrong? It is whenever we talk about in rupees, we talk about, I told you GDP in terms of constant price is not meaningful in terms of rupees, it is always current price. When we talk about growth rate, it is always at constant prices. So why answer was mixed? Several times I told you. In each lecture I told you this thing. Even before this chapter I told you this thing. Whenever we talk in rupees, we talk about current prices. Still you were wrong. Okay, so these are conventions. So got the point here? Now whenever I repeat once more, 4 points I told you here, and these are followed in India also. These are conventions of IMF in general. So GDP, whenever we talk about MP, data will be at MP. I will show you data also. Okay, from ministry. GVA always at basic price. Whenever we say GVA, we mean at basic price. Okay, and one more thing before this. I told you actual relation between GVA and GDP is that I have already told you GDP is equal to summation of GVA. One thing. Second thing is that practically GVA, GDP may be used interchangeably. Got the point? In economic theory, GDP means GVA. Okay, in simple word. As such, when we use in macroeconomics, so either we may use word GDP or GVA may be used interchangeably. But to be more precise, when we talk about MP, we talk about GDP. When we talk about basic price, we talk about GVA. This is a convention. And in terms of rupees, we talk about current price. In terms of growth, we talk about constant prices. Got the point? If nothing is mentioned, you can see this. In this, see this. I have used basic price. So what I have written here, GVA, not GDP. It's a convention. If I will write GDP, it will not be wrong, but it is not a convention. So it is better not to write GDP whenever you write GVA. Here FC also GVA is used usually, but practically we are not using FC. We have data. Remember one thing, we have data, but we don't use practically. Okay, similarly here MP is written, so GDP you can see here. Here basic price, so GVA I have written. Okay, it's a convention. Clear? You can check any book or government data statistics. I will show you that. Okay, some data I have shared, but even latest data is released a few days back, just I think 3 days back, 3 or 4 days back. So I will show you that data also. Okay, so now we will move forward. So the last topic in this chapter is that we have discussed the changes in methodology. Now the issue is that after changes methodology, lot of allegations were made by economists that it is leading to overestimation. There are some flaws, there are issues. So now we will discuss some issues. Issues or we can say problems in the issues with the new methodology. So I will discuss pros and cons here. Okay, what are positive points, what are negative. So first of all I will discuss the criticism or negative points. So one issue is happened immediately once this data is released in 2015. So what happened, the growth rate of GDP under new methodology was overestimated significantly. So upward revision. So first problem was upward revision of growth rates. And actually revision was quite significant upward, not minor. That is why upward revision of growth rates. Okay, I will give you data. Economic growth. So I will give you data as per old methodology, as per new methodology. In the year 2013-14, as per old methodology, growth was 4.7%. As per old. And in the same year, same data, when we changed methodology, when we applied the new methodology on the same data for same year, the growth revised to 6.9%. Is it significant change or not? So 4.7 and 6.9, there is a significant difference, almost 1/3 more than earlier estimate. Now there is a question mark. So either earlier was wrong or this one is wrong, because both cannot be correct. Minor maybe 4.89, it may be okay, but it is 6.9. So significant difference happened. And now the issue is that which one is correct. So actually in 13-14, this was the last year of the Congress government, and at that time there was lot of problems were there in the economy. Even government was unstable, inflation was very high, even lot of issues were there, policy paralysis, etc. So how growth could be so high in this year? And in economic survey itself, this point was mentioned. So actually, as per economics, 2013-14 was a crisis year. 2013-14 was a crisis year. On what basis we can say it was a crisis year? Because savings investment came down. Savings and investment actually reduced significantly. I gave you broad data also reduced, especially in this year. There was capital outflow. Capital outflow means foreigners withdrew money, and rupee depreciated also. Okay, the rupee depreciation, etc. Rupee depreciation. Okay, lot of problems were there. So how growth could be so high? So on the basis of this situation, chances are that most probably old was better than new. So this was one issue. Ajay, this was mentioned in economic survey itself. Like in 2015 when change was made, so now economic survey is in 2 volumes. Volume 1 and 2 I told you. In one they just give analysis of the issues, and volume 2 they give some facts about Indian economy, the data, trend, etc. So in one volume they have mentioned the change in methodology. So most of the points I have given you is from that economic survey only. Okay, and in other volume they have mentioned the analysis of that. This point was mentioned in the economic survey कि it means that there is chances कि new methodology is overestimating growth. So only a question mark was put, because as per the situation of the economy, as per the other variables are reflecting, growth could not be so high. Okay, one issue. Okay, this was mentioned in economic survey itself, okay, of 2015. If you want, you can go through, that is available on Ministry of Finance website. Just put Ministry of Finance website, you will get all on the front page itself. There is a icon for economic survey, and previous year survey you can go through. Just one table was there in volume 1, volume 2, changes as well as that. Other issue was that relating to this NSSO conducted a survey, and in that survey it was found that those companies which are registered under MC21, they were not actually present. So there is issue of shell companies, we can say issue of shell companies. Okay, issue of shell companies. Now first of all, shell company, what is shell company? Shell companies, to mention that these are companies which are registered. These are companies which are registered and officially showing significant transactions. Officially showing significant transactions. But their actual transactions are negligible. So shell company means actually it is just like shell, like it is registered showing this much volume of transaction it is doing on paper. But if you see actually nothing means negligible transaction just on paper. So it is actually just shell, means visible, there is nothing inside this. Got the point? Why called shell? Because it is just shell, just to show off, to show officially a company is doing business, but actually no transaction may be there almost. So shell companies. Okay, so what is issue of shell company? So just mention this thing कि just mention this कि NSSO survey revealed that about 16% of the companies about 16% of the companies listed in MCA21 were non-traceable or shut down. Non-traceable or shut down. And about 21% companies were misclassified. And 21% companies were misclassified. Misclassified means कि operating in other sector then mentioned in MC21. They were operating but in other sector. In MC21 showing other sector and actually was in other sector. So misclassified. So one question mark. So this actually report was published in 2019. Okay, survey was conducted in 18 and this report was mentioned in 2019, early 2019. Okay, so I repeat once more कि NSSO find out the companies which were registered under MC21, out of those companies 16 companies were not actually traceable, not were available on the ground. It means that those 16% companies must be showing some transactions which are included in MC21, and we have estimated their value in our GDP, but actually those companies were not traceable, were not available, or might be there earlier, but now by the time of survey they might have shut down. So either non-traceable or might have shut down. So what does mean? It means that some activities which is recorded in GDP may not be there at all. So can we think it may lead to some overestimation or not? So yes, possibility is there. So it means that it is showing what may be implication of this. So implication of this is that it may lead to overestimation of GDP. There is possibility of overestimation. Okay, one thing. Now companies which were misclassified. So misclassified means they were mentioned in a particular sector in MC21, found in other sector. So problem is that this will lead to problem in estimation. So why problem in estimation? So authenticity will be affected because of this, because we are applying different methods in different sectors. So there is possibility same may be included twice, or maybe possibility the particular income may not be counted neither in this sector, not in that sector. So it actually affects authenticity. It reduces authenticity of estimation. Authenticity of estimates reduces. So this is the problem reported. Question mark was put actually after this survey. I repeat the entire concept again. MC20 this NSSO conducted survey. NSSO conducted survey. And for the that was for financial year 17-18. Okay, but report was there in 2019 only, and in that survey it was found that some companies actually which are listed in this, they were not available at all. 16% companies were not found at all. It means that they are not doing any business. No company was there, and those are showing in MCA 21 and they are reported in national income. So it means that whatever activity is shown by these companies, that is not there, or maybe there by the time of survey may shut down. So it means that GDP may be overestimated. This is one doubt. Second problem is that misclassification means they were there but in other sector. So problem is that chances are that some may be same income may be counted twice, or chances may be same a particular income may not be counted in neither in that sector, not in that. So it may be lead to overestimation or maybe underestimation because of this. So anyhow, authenticity was put question mark. Some economists said to what extent it is authentic. So what is the main problem? Actually main problem is that CSO or now NSO do not actually cross check the data of MC21. Okay, so write down the issues in MC21. So mention this issues in MC21. So first problem is that first mention this CSO in bracket NSO, now it is NSO, does not cross verify MC21 data. Cross verify MCA 21 data. This is one problem. Whatever is mentioned, that is taken here. That is why there may be chance of overestimation, one thing. Second point, the second main issue in MC21 is that to mention that the classification of sectors under MC21 classification of sectors under MC21 is not consistent in bracket same, is not consistent in bracket same as, is not consistent consistent with, rather consistent in bracket same with the classification under NSA, sorry, under SNA, is not consistent in bracket same with classification under system of national account SNA. तो classification sector is in MCA 21 and under this system of national accounts. There is somewhat differences are there. So problem is that we are estimating national income as per the norms of SNA, system of national account, and sector classification is different here. So this is creating some problem and this may lead to which problem? Double counting or skipping, both aspects are there. If the same sector may be counted here and here, so it will be counted twice, so national income will overestimate. And if one sector may not be counted neither as per this or not per here, so it may be skipped from counting, so it may lead to underestimation. So both possibilities could be there because of this misclassification. So this is the main issue which put question mark on authenticity. I think got the point. Apart from that, third important issue is that Professor Dr. Arvind Subramanian, former CA, he presented a research paper. Okay, so you mentioned research paper. Of Dr. Arvind Subramanian. Dr. Arvind Subramanian, former Chief Economic Advisor. So earlier he was Chief Economic Advisor. To Dr. Arvind Subramanian. So in his research paper, he submitted research paper to mention that submitted to Harvard University. And in his research paper, he estimated economic growth of India. So this was in 2019. So this research paper was published. He actually showed it after elections of 2019, and in his research paper, he estimated that India's economic growth is overestimated by about 2.5%. How? Because his estimate, means estimate of Dr. Arvind Subramanian is 4.5. Okay, economic growth. It was economic growth in the last few years, and official estimate as per Government of India, it is about 7%. Okay, so you can see that Dr. Arvind Subramanian said that in the last few years, it was from 2011 to 16 approximately, to 11 to 17, 16, 17. So growth was official estimate, as per official estimate means as per NSO. Official estimate means National Statistical Office, NSO, 7%. And he said this. So how much is overestimation? So it means that overestimation is about 2.5%. About 7% or more, 5 or 7 approximately. So it means that he showed actually Government of India, that is NSO, is overestimating growth by about 2.5%. So it lead to again controversy whether growth is overestimated or not. And in economic survey, the theme of economic survey is on this only research paper. So actually in this economic survey of 2020, last year's economic survey now, so in that actually I have shared with you, so they have just shown that this estimate is not authentic. His criticism is not authentic. This is the only. So actually the scope is very narrow in that economic survey, in that chapter, because they have shown entire focus is that this is not correct only. Okay, so this is one issue. This shows that overestimation is there. Okay, apart from that, there were some issues like other issues. One issue is related with GDP back series data. GDP back series data. This also issue erupted in 2019. What is this back series data? So back series data means, for example, we have made change methodology in which year? 2015. Before this we were using which methodology? We were using old methodology, and after 15 we are using new methodology. Okay, so what is meaning of back series data? So I will give you brief idea. Okay, before 2015 we were using old methodology, and after 15 we started using new methodology. Now if we have to compare GDP of years after 15 and before 15, so what do you think? Now your question from you people, if we have to compare GDP of India now, like in maybe 1920, 2021 as compared to maybe previous years, so do you think in previous years we should apply old methodology or new methodology on old years data, which will give better idea for comparison? Now we are using new methodology, so on previous years data we should apply old methodology or new methodology, then which will give better idea? So just write down O for old, N for new. In previous year data, let's suppose we have to compare GDP maybe 10 years back. So in 10 years back data we should estimate GDP as per old methodology or new methodology on 10 years back data, which will give better comparison. So give me O for old, N for new. So obviously very easy answer to most of you. I think all of you must be correct here. So Praveen, Radhika, all of you are correct. So obviously new methodology, because methodology should be same, only then we can compare. So what is this back series data? So it is simply GDP back series data. It refers to application of new methodology on previous year's data. So just mention this thing in word. So I think all of you are correct here. So GDP back series data means कि application. So just mention this, application of new methodology on previous year's data. Application of new methodology on previous year's data. New methodology on previous year's data. Okay, so we are applying new methodology on this. So what happened actually? This was mainly a political issue. So that is mentioned in notes, you can go through that. So what happened? In the previous government, like UPA government, UPA 1 and UPA 2, the growth was much higher as compared to this government. The data was released from 14 to 19. In the first 4 years of this government, growth was about 7.4, and earlier growth was much higher, 7.5 and 8.1. In first 5 years 8.1 and next 5 years 7.5, and this government 7.4. So it means that after this government from 2014 onwards, 14 to 19, despite Make in India and so much reforms, growth rather came down. It is a fact that growth is lower in this regime as compared to previous 10 years. Okay, so it put a question mark. It actually created a question mark on the claims of government. Government said growth is reviving, economy is booming now, India is performing very good. So but the data is actually showing the opposite picture. But problem was that the data in the previous Congress government was based on old methodology. So then CSO applied new methodology. And what happened when CSO applied new methodology on the previous 10 years data? So do you think growth is estimated to go up or down, revised estimate? So as I told you earlier also growth further increased, the growth rate further increased. So it further put a question mark, growth was much higher. In the first term it was 8.1 in the first 5 years of Congress government, means UPA government. So it was 8.1 revised to 8.4, and 7.5 revised to 7.7, and here growth was 7.4 only. So it further put a question mark, growth was much higher during previous government rather than this government despite reform. It means that reform Make in India was not much successful. So this was the problem. Then Niti Aayog intervened. Niti Aayog said you have not applied method properly, and Niti Aayog said then estimated from its own formula, and Niti Aayog said growth was not very high, was not close to 8%, it was 6.7 only in both the regimes, and now it is 7.4. So it lead to a lot of criticism. This is not the job of Niti Aayog. Niti Aayog is responsible for designing developmental programs and implementation, etc., and reviewing implementation, giving suggestions regarding policy. And estimation of national income is a job of statisticians. So Niti Aayog is not expert in that. So it is a rather political intervention. But anyhow, basically it was a political issue, because it became very difficult for government to explain why growth. It actually falsified the claims of government that growth accelerated in our regime, because data is speaking different. And after this application of new methodology, further growth accelerated, was revised upward. So it became politically difficult for government to defend. That is why government have to do this thing. So anyhow, this is a mainly political issue. I have shown in the data also. Now apart from that, there were issues regarding at the time of demonetization also. After demonetization, in that quarter when demonetization was made, official statistics show no change. It shows that there was no impact on GDP. So that also was criticized, but now not much relevant right now. Because overall in that financial year growth was 7.1, and in that quarter when demonetization was made in November 2016, so in October, November, December growth was 7%. So how there was no impact on growth after demonetization? So some reasons were there that demonetization affected unorganized sector, and organized sector is not properly estimated, and rather cashless transaction increased. So they are recorded, cash transactions are not reported. That was some reasons were there why not fully GDP growth, GDP data failed to reflect the correct situation. So lot of question marks were put, like 4 points I have told you at the time of demonetization, briefly I told you. Though these issues were there. So from the year when this revision took place, consistently there were actually doubts. Like first in 15 itself, in economic survey itself this issue was mentioned. Okay, then in 2016 demonetization, this point I told you. Then in 2019 these points actually happened like this. So these were the problems consistently that was actually in news, why there was actually, is it authentic or not, lot of question mark. That is why this year in economic survey there is a chapter, and in that chapter, but that chapter is very narrow. They have not mentioned much about this. They have just mentioned the only focus of that survey is that Arvind Subramanian's research is wrong. This is and certainly it is correct. This is not overestimation is there, and as per most of the economists, they believe that there is some overestimation, but certainly not as much as 2.5. Maybe somewhat. Now how much it is very difficult to say. No economist has given another number, like former chief statistician and lot of other prominent economists and statisticians. They believe that some minor overestimation happened, but not significant. And it is true that overestimation happened because of two reasons I told you. One is because of MP and because of organized sector's growth equal to unorganized sector. These things certainly lead to overestimation, but not very significant, not this much. It is certainly, most of the economists believe that some overestimation is there, but it cannot be even close to this. Got the point? So these were the issues actually raised in this. So overall, what are pros and cons? So negative points I told you. So what are negative points? So 4 points are important here, negative point. So first of all, so this is political issue, so not so important, and now slightly old also. This you should have idea about this research, like in criticism you can mention this. The actual flaws are these. If we say flaws in methodology, why overestimation, if there is a question, you can mention these points. 1, 2, this point. Okay, so 4 things are there which are showing that there may be overestimation. One is this thing. Okay, if what is negative aspect? This thing, because CSO is not cross verifying, so chances are that shell companies might be there, just like this data revealed of NSSO. Okay, and classification, misclassification is also another issue, difference in classification. Okay, and 2 points I told you which certainly nobody can say that there is no overestimation. So one is I told you relating to MP. So earlier we were using we are using FC, now we are using MP. Okay, I have already told you, I'll just give you a recap. So you can, and without any doubt, this will lead to overestimation, as we have discussed already. Other I told you, other thing which certainly will lead to overestimation, that is what? That is this organized sector's growth, organized sector growth equal to unorganized sector growth. Okay, I have already discussed that. So these things are there. Okay, so four flaws, four are the main points of flaw in negative aspect. कि FC changed to MP. Now growth is shown at MP. This is growth is over reported because of indirect taxes, and exact calculation is about approximately 0.2%. Okay, I will show you in data. And organized sectors growth equal to unorganized sectors. These two certainly have led to overestimation in the last few years. Okay, and these two are flaws. And issues were these which I told you already. Ki here these are the issues. Okay, like shell companies issue and this. Okay, so these 4 points I told you. Now we will discuss the positive point. How it is more authentic now. So arguments in favor of new methodology. To write down arguments in favor of new methodology. So I have given you point against, now in favor. Why it is more authentic? So write down first point. So first point is that it is based on conventions of UNO, that is SNA 2008. Okay, so first of all, it is based on convention of UNO, or we can say IMF here, that is SNA 2008. It simply, first thing is that this actually was not anything which is devised by Government of India. It is actually, we have adopted international conventions. Clear? So first thing. Second point, write down second point, independent estimates of IMF and World Bank and World Bank are comparable with the estimates under new methodology. So just a minute, what I have dictated, independent estimates of IMF and World Bank about India's economic growth are comparable with the estimates under new methodology. Okay, so I repeat once more, independent estimates of IMF and World Bank about India's economic growth are comparable means here similar with the estimates of under the new methodology. So it means that IMF is saying you are growing at about 7%, World Bank is saying you are growing about 7%. What is problem in us to accept that we are growing at 7%? What the point? And it should be clear that IMF and World Bank is using same data, and the question mark is not on data, it is on methodology. So we are applying that methodology, IMF is also applying the same methodology on same data. So if result is same, to what is problem? What problem we have in accepting that we are growing at fast pace? Clear? Now third point. So there is some conceptual improvement. So in the form of basic prices. Earlier we were ignoring NPT, that is a flaw in our methodology. So third point mentioned that new methodology has made some conceptual improvements. New methodology has made some conceptual improvements like concept of basic prices, which includes taxes and subsidies on production, okay, or net production taxes we can say, okay, which I have told you already. This is a conceptual improvement. Earlier we were ignoring that thing, tax which is actually included. So without any doubt this is a conceptual improvement. The fourth point, the new methodology has widened the data sources. Okay, also mention it has increased the sample size. Of data, which has enhanced its authenticity. Okay, authenticity. Because why authenticity will increase? Because larger the sample size, more authentic will be the outcome. And even it enables cross checking, because if same data may be collected from two sources, we can cross check that, cross verify also. This is one possibility of cross checking also. So without any doubt this data size will increase, sample size will increase, authenticity certainly will improve. Okay, so these are the points which are in support of the new methodology. So overall, you know, कि pros and cons you should know. Like this question may be asked कि critically analyze the means new methodology. Okay, so do you think India's GDP growth is overestimated? Okay, so actually in economic survey they have find out actually flaws in they have find out flaws. Arvind Subramanian has find out flaw in the new methodology. So you just go through. I'll give you brief idea about the concept, but we don't have time. But I'll try to just give you idea in 5 minutes. So now the matter I've shared with you people is this. Difficulties in estimation, practical difficulties and conceptual difficulties I have not dictated. You may go through very simple. Practical difficulties in collection of data. Okay, data collection, unorganized sector, black money is not estimated. These are practical problems. Conceptual problems are actually which item we shall include, which not include, which method we shall apply. Okay, so these are conceptual. Very simple, you may go through. Changes in methodology I have discussed already, dictated all of these points. So in economic survey, GDP back series data you may go through, I have told you already. Now in economic survey volume 1 and the chapter 10, name of that chapter was, is India's GDP growth overestimated? So they have answered no. So actually the theme of this economic survey is on that whether it is overestimated or not, and they have shown only on one point. They have mentioned only just Arvind Subramanian's research paper, and they have shown that this is wrong. So it is very narrow. Got the point? So it is very narrow because it focus on that. But anyhow, it is correct. Dr. Arvind Subramanian's research paper is not very authentic. In that sense, he has shown much overestimation. That is not correct, without any doubt. Okay, so is India's GDP overestimated? So they have found two flaws in the methodology. So what are the two flaws? The two flaws are, one, they have used two flaws. This is same thing which I have dictated. They have used difference in difference model. Okay, so what is difference in difference model? Just briefly, rather I will explain what is this difference in difference methodology. Just see the difference in difference method. So what is this? So just basic concept will make it clear. So I think when you will read, you will understand. Just you have to give me one answer. Let us suppose this is 2015 when we made changes in methodology. So the growth rate of India is moving like this, and then after the change in methodology increase. So this is growth of India. Okay. So got the point? So before change in methodology growth was this, and after this growth increased to this. Just on the basis of common sense. This is growth rate, and here it is time. And now growth of other countries. Let us suppose other countries growth was maybe parallel to India almost, and in other countries growth rate was this. Growth of other countries, other similar countries, not all countries like Brazil, China, etc., which are emerging market economies, was almost similar to this. Okay. Now my question from you people is that if I want to infer from this, after earlier growth of India was low and after 15 growth accelerated. So is it correct to say that growth is accelerating because of change in methodology? If I want to conclude from here that growth of Indian economy actually accelerated after change in methodology, so it is overestimating growth on the basis of this fact. So if I am making this conclusion that growth is overestimated because growth was low before that and now growth is high, so is it a overestimation? I am correct or wrong? I am concluding that growth is overestimated. I am correct or wrong here? Please give me answer, C or W. Two terms are used in this kind of analysis. So this is called, India is called treatment group. Treatment or experimental. group, treatment group or experimental group, and other countries are called control group. Control group. So in that question, I think most of you are correct, but only few people are wrong. So actually this inference is wrong. What inference I have made is wrong. So why it is wrong? Because you can see growth in India accelerated after this, but it accelerated in other countries also. In other countries no change was made. Control group means that no change was made. So it means that automatically there must be change in overall environment. So probably growth might have changed, because in other countries where no change is made, here I did not told you this thing, in other countries no change was made. This is called control group, and this is treatment group or experimental group when where change was made. So it means that growth accelerated in other countries also. So conclusion is that there is no overestimation here. So it means that growth has not changed because of change in methodology. Got the point? So have you understood this? Growth has not increased. You can see here in case of in India, growth accelerated, although, but it should be clear, it also accelerated after this where no change is made. Control group means no change is made in those countries. So as per this assessment, there is no overestimation. But just I will use another pen like but if growth could be like this, in India growth could be like this. Okay, if growth may be like this, if let us suppose growth of India may be this, so can we say how much is overestimation of growth? Now you have to give me answer, how much is overestimation of growth? So overestimation is from here to here, we may say A, from here to here we may say B. So how much growth is overestimated, A or B or A plus B, or no overestimation? So answer is A or B or A plus B or no overestimation. Just give me answer. If actual growth may be just like green line, if growth might be equal to green line, then overestimation should be A or B or A plus B. What do you think? So give me answer, A only, B only, or A plus B. So I think you are correct, all of you are correct, A. This much will be overestimation. Got the point? So this is difference in difference methodology. So this is difference in difference, because this is the difference, whatever main difference was there, that is continuing here. So this is extra difference. Difference in difference means this shows overestimation. Clear? So they, in this economic survey, they have mentioned, yes, all of you are correct, but some of you have given A plus B. So answer should be A here. Only this is overestimation, because this automatically increase. It increased in those countries where no change was made. Okay. Apart from that, you know what in economic survey they have mentioned, difference in difference methodology is quite authentic, and in actually it was somewhat like this. After change methodology, so actually it was just like this. So on that basis, actually Arvind Subramanian said that there is this much is overestimation. But in economic survey, it was mentioned that there is a precondition. This in economic survey it was mentioned that this thing will be valid only if these growths are parallel, and if they are not parallel, if the other countries are not growing at the same rate, then this conclusion could be made. Now you have to give me answer in this the argument given in economic survey, you have to give me answer correct or wrong. In economic survey the argument was given that actually this is valid, that A may be overestimation if the growth rate of India and other countries should be parallel, and since actually if you see growth of India and the other countries which Arvind Subramanian has taken into account, so the growth was not parallel. So this actually, this blue line, actually this was not actually like a straight line, it was fluctuating. So if this is fluctuating, it is not parallel. The growth trend in India and other countries, these control group, is not parallel. Sometimes growth in India may be increasing, in that country decreasing. So can we make this conclusion? So we cannot make this conclusion. So this argument of economic survey is correct or wrong? To give me answer, correct or wrong? Argument of economic survey. So answer is correct. Yes, it is correct, because until unless the growth is parallel trend, so how we can say that it is overestimation? Clear? So you can see this thing. Growth of other countries is like this, other countries like green. India should be this and actual is this. So it should be like this. So you can see this India's growth is expected to be this much. Okay, and this country, these countries' growth will be this. So how much is overestimation? It is expected to be in this direction, but how much is overestimation? From here to here is overestimation, this much. So this is the inference of Arvind Subramanian. But this is valid if India's growth and this line they should be parallel, just like shown in this. But actually growth of India and other countries is not actually parallel. So you can see this is mentioned in this diagram. They have said that growth is not parallel. Like this is growth of India and this is growth of other country. You can see here India's growth is declining and here the country, these growth did not decline. So gap you can see eliminated, and here again you can see gap is so much. Here the growth in other countries declined, in India increased. So they are not parallel. So we cannot make this inference. So got the point here. So I repeat once more, in economic survey it is said that DID methodology is not applicable here. It's not correct. Why? Because the growth in India, which is a experimental group, and other countries which is a control group, they were not parallel, because you can see here in India growth is increasing, here it is decreasing. So it is not always parallel. That is why we cannot make this conclusion. So that is why this the basis of this conclusion on DID methodology is wrong. Okay, I think it should be clear. You may go through, I think it should be clear. Otherwise in next lecture I will make it clear. And one more small topic in this, they have what they have mentioned. Other thing is that other point which they have mentioned is variable bias, some omitted variables bias. They have used the word omitted variables bias. Now what is that? For example, if I say that growth rate of economy depends on, is a function of automobile sales. To some extent, can we say growth depends on automobile sales, electricity consumption, got the point, or depends on industrial IIP. So economic growth rate depends on performance of industrial index of industrial production, automobile sales, electricity, etc. So is it correct or not? So answer is yes, to some extent. So there is correlation in economic growth overall and in automobile sales, electricity consumption, index of industrial production, and some other variables which show growth. So this is actually means growth depends on these factors. But do you think, is it possible, if we are using this equation to estimate growth, is it possible to consider all factors which affect economic growth? Possible or not? Certainly not possible. So some variables may be omitted or not, left out or not. So certainly some variables may be left out, and that is called omitted variables bias. Omitted variables bias. So I repeat once more, if we say growth depends on this automobile sales, electricity consumption, index of industrial production, and some other variables which reflect growth, so it is correct, yes, this happens. But is it possible to include all variables here? So obviously no. So those variables which are important, which are having a bearing on growth, may be left out. So variables may be omitted, and that is called omitted variables bias. So actually Arvind Subramanian used a regression model, and regression model is based on such kind of functional relationships. So some important variables were mixed. So what was mentioned in economic survey, Arvind Subramanian has mainly considered the variables which are related with industry, like industrial production, automobile sales, electricity consumption, but he did not take much variables which are related with services sector. In India's 55% of GDP is from service sector, and this was almost missing. Agriculture sector was almost missing in this. So a lot of important variables he omitted, and that has created omitted bias, variables bias. Okay, so two flaws were actually shown in the methodology of Arvind Subramanian. But as I told you, only idea is sufficient. You need not require to go in much detail, because content of this chapter of economic survey was very narrow content. Okay, so they have just shown they have not shown why it is more authentic. They have shown what are flaw in this methodology of Arvind Subramanian. Okay, so you may go through that. If you have any doubt, I will take up in next chapter. But one more thing, and one more step taken by government to improve authenticity is that government set up one committee, standing committee on economic statistics under former chief statistician Pranab Sen. So that is also important data. Acha, what government did to improve authenticity of national income estimate? So CSO and SSO have been merged into NSO. That is because to improve coordination in the data collection agencies. Other is improvement in methodology, international norms have been adopted. Other, this committee has been set up to remove that question mark, and government is like the classification of under this MCA 21 is correlated with the is aligned with the classification under NSA, so that there should not be such problems. So government, these are the steps to improve authenticity of national income in the country. Okay, and one last thing in this is that recently 3-4 days back, few days back, data of advance estimate for the next year is given. So in this I have shared data, I have shared the PPT. In this I give you data of this because by that time when I gave you this, the data for 1920 was available. Okay, so I gave you data this for which year? For 1920 only. So I give you data about GDP. You can see GDP at current prices was how much? GDP at current prices was, GDP you can see is 203 lakh crore. Okay, 203 lakh crore. But now recently data for 2021 is also available. 2021 is not over, but we have data for 2021 also. So you may go through this, I will just show you that data. So this is the PPT which I have already shared, some of you might have read. Now I will show you some data from the ministry. So you may go through, you may just go to the website of ministry and go through this data. So it was released on 7th January. Okay, so 7th January. So this is a press note. So first advance estimate of national income expenditure 2021. Okay, so 2021 is not over yet, it should be clear. 2020-21 will end on 31st March 2021. Okay, so this is advance estimate. Okay, first advance estimate. So as per this advance estimate, you can see GDP, third number is GDP. So GDP, it is at constant prices. First of all, see the GDP at current prices in next table. So GDP, you can see this is at actually current prices. GDP, it is at current prices. So GDP you can see is 194.8, so 195 lakh crore, and last year 1920 I give you 203 lakh crore. So last year GDP is how much? 203, and you may write down right now it is 195. So GDP growth was actually negative. How much is the growth of GDP? The growth of GDP in 2021 was minus 4.2. Okay, minus 4.2. It was GDP growth. Actually, this is nominal GDP. The growth was minus 4.2. Now, what was real GDP? Real GDP growth last year was, I told you. Now, see the GDP at 11-12 prices. GDP data for 1920 I gave you 146 lakh crore, 146. Now it is how much? 134. 146 GDP at constant prices, 146 last year, and in 2020-21 advance estimate is 1,34,000. So what is growth? Minus 7.7%. Minus 7.7%. Or rather I will write, so I think because this GDP MP at current prices, whatever I have shown you, in I gave you data of 1920 is 203 lakh crore. Okay, I gave you this data. Now in this year 2020-21 the advance estimate is showing rupees 203, now it is showing rupees 195 lakh crore. So how much is growth here? It is reduced, so it is minus 4.2% growth. And this is which growth? Nominal growth, not actual growth, not real growth. So GDP, MP, current prices. Okay, so I think because a lot of data was there, so may not be visible, you may write down this thing. GDP, MP, current prices 203 lakh crore, I gave you data for 1920. 2021 195, and growth, this is nominal growth 4.2%. Now GDP, MP at constant prices, here it is constant prices. I gave you data, it was how much rupees? Last year it was rupees 146 lakh crore. Okay, and now this year it is expected to be 134 lakh crore. So how much it has reduced from 146 to 134? It has reduced by minus 7.7%. So this is actually real GDP growth. Okay, so you might have read this in newspaper. So please go through either one or two article on this. Just put down advanced estimate of economic growth, okay, or GDP growth. Okay, you will find this article. Otherwise, go to the site of MOSPI, Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, and on the front page itself they have given advanced estimate of national income. Just click that and you will get this table which I showed you. Okay, so try to go through some articles, and whatever doubts you will be having, I will clear those doubts. Okay, so we have a very long time. Okay, so that is all actually in this chapter. I tried to complete this chapter. Okay, so this is all in this chapter. Now only doubts, some doubts are there. Pavan, your doubt. Okay, so this is all in this chapter. In next class we will take up monetary system, money supply, reserve money, money multiplier, etc. So national income is over. Whatever doubts you have, go through some articles in newspaper and see the website of that, and then whatever doubts, I will take up doubts. I think some doubts may be there. Okay, try to correlate with what is there in newspaper. Okay, just now only I think few doubts are there. So Pavan, your doubt, what are credit subsidy? How it is product subsidy? So product is credit, bank loan is a product. So if you are borrowing, so government will, let us suppose the interest may be, bank may charge 14%, and out of 14% maybe 7% is given by government. So you have to pay only 7%. Just like loan taken by farmer is subsidized by government. So a part of interest is paid by government and part paid by farmer. So, and the government is paying the interest to bank on behalf of farmer, that is subsidy, credit subsidy. So credit is a product. If you borrow, so what is product of bank? That is service, that is loan is a service. So that is why it is subsidy. And how it is production incentive different from subsidy? No, production incentive, subsidy is a kind of incentive to production. If government is giving subsidy on inputs, it is an incentive to produce that particular crop. Incentive could be given in the form of subsidy or any other thing like MSP, any other support government may give. Achha, Divya Chaudhary, your question, can we say that Veblen goods are also exceptional goods and this type of goods will be included in goods creating effect on society? Veblen goods also have impact on society? No, not necessarily. Veblen goods are used for show off, because like the very rich people, they buy very expensive goods to show people ki, you know, I am so rich, I buy, you know, I am buying these goods. So Veblen goods, we cannot say ki will have a negative impact on environment or society, we cannot say. But certainly these things, these goods are used for show off, not very productive things. Okay, people spend on, you know, rare articles, etc., customized car, etc. So we cannot say कि always will have a, they will have a negative impact, may have, may not have. Okay, so and certainly they are usually a kind of exception because they are exception to law of demand. In case of Veblen goods, when price increases, people buy more to show off, you know, I have bought this. Okay, other is Bhavani, your question, while differentiating factor cost and market price, you said that we will not include non-factor cost in both. Yes, factor cost market price. Yes, you know, cost of raw material is neither included in FC nor in MP. I told you already. But in last class, while you have taken example, you calculated market value of product rupees. No, I have said price only. 25 I said, I have not said market value. So I may say market price, but in GDP MP will not include 25. It should be clear. I may say price, I have written price, that is why I have not written market price there, so that you may not confuse. Even if I say market price, but that is different from GDP MP. So I may say price 25 rupee, or I may say market price 25 rupee of pen, but in GDP MP will be 20 only. But if we might have started production with 0 rupees of raw material, then entire 25 will be GDP MP. In that example, since we started of 5 rupees of raw material, so GDP MP will be 20 only. It should be clear. Okay. So if I say price in normal parlance, that is different from GDP MP. Whether these two, market value and market price, are different because you included non-factor cost 5 rupees market value. No, if I say if you go to market to buy a marker and MRP is 25 actually, so you have to pay 25 rupee. So what is market price of marker? 25 rupee. But in GDP MP, so market price in normal parlance is different from GDP MP. It should be clear. So if you ask what is market price of this marker, that is 25, you are correct. But in GDP MP, we will not include 25. If we started with 5 rupees of raw material, then in GDP MP we will write only 20. Got the point? Actual market price may be 20, you have 25, you have to pay 25. But if I am assuming that we started with raw material of 5, then GDP MP will include 20, not 25. Achha, but GDP MP can be 25 if we started the production process with 0 rupees of raw material. Raw material was freely available in the environment, so then it will be same. GDP MP will be 25 in that case. Okay, so we'll continue in next lecture.